kids, or not kids, but we'll call it millennials, are not taking this seriously is because the reporting for the last 2 months out of China, where the virus started and where 80,000 people were infected, was that the young people are not vulnerable to death because of this virus, and that is why they are not taking it serious. That's why you're seeing spring breakers. That's why you're seeing what's happening in Florida and South Padre, Texas. Now, I have seen recently on Twitter, especially, whether this is true or not, the narrative is changing that young people are susceptible to this virus, and I hope that again, it's a matter of going all in or all out. If you don't go all in or all out, you're not going to stop the virus.
I don't.
And people that are under 30 years old, they have to understand that if they really do want to protect their elderly loved ones as well.
Mike, the bottom line here is we have to live with what the governor has put in place. 257-5396. Next caller is Charles. Charles, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Charles?
Charles, did we lose you? 702-257-5396. Let's go to Alan. Alan, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
What's up, Alan?
Just an observation. Let us say the governor has our best interests at heart, so does the mayor. Let's say that in 30 days, the governor reports that we have control and there are no new cases, and he basically states that the casinos can now open up and it's business as usual. So social distancing is now suspended. We rely on people coming from around the world. There's a problem around the world. So now does the governor say casinos are now open, business as usual, but if you're from Europe, if you're from China, we can't let you in?
That's a very good point. No, listen, that's a good point.
It starts again.
No, you're right.
Listen,
Listen, you're right. See, here's I agree with what you just said too. The problem here is that a lot of people aren't thinking like that. Sadly, a lot of people are thinking selfishly, about money in their own pocket, and I understand that. But with that being said, you make a very good point. This isn't just a Las Vegas problem. This isn't just a problem in this country. It's throughout the world. And how much do we rely on tourism?
Well, but again, that's just the Las Vegas Strip that relies on tourism. There's a lot of businesses outside of the Strip that are made successful because of locals. Like, for example, Red Rock Casino. Does Red Rock Casino necessarily rely on tourism? I would say the answer to that is no.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I also there's different sides to this issue, and I think he made some good points. Listen, I think Mike made some good points as well. We need to be somewhere in the middle here, but this is about you guys. We want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. 257-5396. I believe Wayne is next on the Vegas Take. Wayne, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Wayne?
Hey, good morning, you guys. I just want to add that Las Vegas went through something worse than this virus at the end of the 70s. I was 100 miles north of Vegas when that happened. I mean, how many things are we going to dodge? And then last night, the control tower at McCarran, they hauled them guys out of there.
All right, well, Wayne, I understand that, Vegas has been through some tough times. I get what you're saying, Wayne, and October 1 is something that comes to mind for me. But, Wayne, nobody has ever had to deal with what we're dealing with right now, certainly not in my lifetime. You have to admit this is a very unique and serious situation. And, I understand what you're saying. Vegas is very resilient. This country is very resilient. But we've never had to deal with anything like this before. You would admit that.
I sort of very much do. We've been up against it before because I'm in and out of the foreign war zones.
Right.
And there's such a thing that I have been studying. I tried to explain to you. I'm in the medical world, but I'm looking at things a lot differently than what normal people would do because I've been studying foreign viruses and diseases because I'm in and out of the war zone.
No, and listen, I totally respect that, sir, and I understand your sentiment and what you're trying to say. The only point I'm trying to make is we have not been in times like this ever before. This is an extremely serious situation. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Your chance to be heard. Let's go to Charles. Charles, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Charles?
Yeah, hi guys. Amazon and eBay, are they non-essential or essential? I mean, how many does your package get touched? Number two, is that stadium out there essential or non-essential?
Let's start with those two. As far as some of these delivery companies out there, whether it be Amazon or eBay or whatever, no, I don't think any of that stuff is essential. That's not essential at all. We talked about what is essential right now.
No,
food,
they've turned
water,
themselves into essential because they've changed their structure. They're not delivering non-essential items, and they're only delivering what are considered essential items, which has actually made them essential. And I believe that construction is also essential.
Listen, we had calls from construction workers.
They're also not brick and mortar, though, either.
Right. We've had construction workers that have called in yesterday. Listen, I'm not an expert when it comes to what's essential or not essential, but I mean, logic just tells you food, water, medical, 911, police, emergency personnel. These are the things that are essential. I mean, this is a really weird town we're living in, right? A lot of weird things going on. But appreciate the phone. Go ahead.
On the silver is used in bandages and burn creams, and it's a mild antiseptic, anti-infective orally.
Right.
But I don't know about killing the.
Well, all I'm saying is the reason why I brought that up is because we have a local radio host who is endorsing a product and they're claiming that it cures the coronavirus. That's beyond irresponsible, and it's a scam. That's exactly what you call it. We have a lot of people. I shouldn't say a lot of people, but there's a small percentage of people in this country that take advantage of people during difficult times, and Wayne Allen Root is one of those people. Listen, man, I appreciate the phone call. You posed some very interesting and good questions. And no, I don't think construction should be essential. You're right. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, 257-5396. Let's go to Brady. Brady, you are next up on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Brady?
Good morning, gentlemen. Hey, colloidal silver is the oldest form of antibiotics known to man. It's been used all the way back to the time of Cleopatra.
Antibiotics do not cure the coronavirus, my friend. There's no.
It's not cure, Brian. It's not cure.
Well, that's what Wayne Allen Root is saying. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Wayne Allen Root is wrong. I sell colloidal silver. My company sells colloidal silver, and it's nano-sized colloidal silver.
I don't have a problem with that, Brady, but you're probably not advertising it as a cure for corona, right? You wouldn't do that because that would be irresponsible.
What it does is when a virus comes into contact with colloidal silver, it hits it, and the metallic properties of the silver.
I get it. I understand, but this isn't. I get it. I don't disagree with you, but this isn't just any virus. This is the coronavirus. There is no cure. And when you go on the air or when you go on social media and you're a personality, whatever the heck Wayne Allen Root is, and you endorse a product that claims that they have the cure for coronavirus, you are a scumbag. There's no other word to describe it.
Well, he needs to rephrase it.
Well, there's a lot of things you need to rephrase because he lies on the radio every day.
With Wayne on this one either. So hang on, I'm a friend of Wayne. I was disagreeing with him yesterday. He said he was all proud of himself that he was locked inside his house.
Well, because he's a moron.
On the radio about everybody else that's quarantined and saying, "I'm 60 years old and healthy. How come nobody else is working?"
Well, because he's a moron.
Quarantined in his house. He's got a radio studio there. So how many people have that advantage? So he needs to kind of tone that rhetoric down. Not everybody can get out.
I hear what you're saying, Brady. Brady, we agree. I hear what you're saying, but I've been saying this about this guy for years. That's all he does is spew hatred and rhetoric that is untrue. Wow, it reminds me of somebody else. Commander-in-Chief, 702-257-5396 is the number to call.
Wayne Allen Root went on Twitter to endorse alkaline silver. He tweeted March 9th that if he ever got coronavirus, he would use, quote, massive doses of alkaline structured silver, kills virus, and is inexpensive.
Just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. 257-5396. Let's go to Brad. Brad, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Brad?
Mr. Stein has me bleeping scared. The statements yesterday sounded like he was bleeping serious, and I hope.
Can I ask you a question? No, stay on the line. Stay on the line. Stay on the line. I want to ask you a serious question. What is so funny about the coronavirus to you that you decide to call into a show and make light of it? I want to ask you that. Can you be serious for 10 seconds? What is so funny to you about the coronavirus?
Is to get a rise out of you, and you're too stupid to see that the only reason I do it.
So all people are dying, and people are scared, and your only goal in life is to get a rise out of me. What a loser you are! Do you realize what a loser you are? Get out of your mom's basement.
I've always appreciated the comedic relief.
Well, I don't. Get out of your mom's basement. Get a life, okay?
But apparently, my opinion.
And do something else with your life.
No, comedic relief was yesterday when someone was talking about how Brian's got can of Coke on his table and he was hoarding toilet paper. That was funny. This guy's just a moron.
He's been doing it for probably 18 months.
All right, so the
roughly.
number to call if you want to be a
I'm
part
fine
of
with it.
the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation.
I have his phone number. If
Good.
you want me to
Good.
give it out or
70
something, maybe that'll stop him from calling in.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. Again, if you want to be a part of the conversation, that number to call, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Nate. Nate, you're next up on the Vegas Take. Nathan, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Nathan?
Thanks for taking my call. I think
Sure.
Sisolak made the right, painful decision to close all non-essential, and I think casinos are included in that. And I understand how painful that is for our city, for our state, for our economy. But I think that we have an advantage right now of seeing the mistakes that other countries made and have an opportunity to be proactive and deal with this in a more aggressive manner. I guarantee you that Italy wishes that they had been more aggressive.
Well, and the problem with Italy is that an article just came out on Bloomberg that 99% of the 3,000 people that have died in Italy of the coronavirus all had pre-existing underlying health conditions. That means that roughly 30 relatively healthy people have died from the coronavirus in coronavirus-stricken Italy. And if we're 2 or 3 weeks behind Italy, by the same logic, considering their fatality rates roughly 8.5%, and ours at this point is 1.49%, we'll have roughly 4 people die, relatively healthy people will die of the coronavirus in 2 or 3 weeks. Now, does that warrant what's going on right now? But I think you're right, and I wouldn't say other countries, I would say other cities, like what's going on in New York City right now, where they've got 7,000, or they're testing 7,500 a day, but they're up to 4,000 cases just in New York, and it's spiking the national numbers. I think that Las Vegas can learn from that.
Appreciate the phone.
But I don't think.
Go ahead, Nathan.
No, I don't think that, because the larger number of people that are dying are people that have, pre-existing conditions
Right.
that make it more likely that they're going to die, means that it's not as serious a problem. It still is regardless.
Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily disagree with you, Nathan. We appreciate your phone call. Thank you for buzzing in with your opinions.
Good call, Nathan.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. By the way, I want to mention this really quickly because I think it's really important. The Vegas Golden Knights players and personnel have pledged $500,000 to help those workers in T-Mobile Arena. Great job by that organization.
Fleury donated $100,000 by himself.
Fantastic job by the Knights organization for doing so, and we really salute them for that. It's great. Stepping up to the plate big time. I think every other professional organization should follow their suit. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Ron. Ron, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, Ron?
Hey, what's up, Ron?
Hey, how are you, JD? How you doing, Brian?
Doing well.
Doing good. What's on your mind?
I was till yesterday, Brian, a big fan of Wayne Allen Root, and I was driving home and I'm listening to the guy fear monger. I mean, and I'm thinking, look, I believe personally that there's a system going where they're trying to hurt the United States, the deep state. I believe that. Okay, but Wayne Allen Root, it's like he has no brain, and he's saying, "Oh, this is going to happen. This is our economy's history."
Hey, Ron, can I interject real quickly and say I don't necessarily that he has no brain. It's that he has no conscience and no talent. That's what I think it is.
I understand.
You could call it a false sense of morality.
I'm just done with him. I'm done with him.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm glad to hear you say that, and I hope others will follow suit, Ron. And I'm glad you see the picture here. For somebody to endorse a product like that, bottom line is it's disgusting, Ron. It's disgusting. I don't know what other word to use.
Yeah, I'm on my.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's also kind of dangerous if you have say 15,000 people hear that and they think, oh, well, in 2 weeks, that's a false sense of hope. I can do whatever I want to do. I can go to bars, clubs, restaurants. I can have group gatherings of 50 people plus. And the thing, because a virus is on its way, or there is a current virus, that can be dangerous.
Just unbelievable. I'm glad that people like Ron are out there that are finally seeing who this guy really is. 257-5396. Let's go to Gino. Gino, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Gino?
Hey guys, you guys doing a good job, buddy. I just run this past you. If you probably heard the governor of Texas the other night, so no truck stop. Where are we going to park a truck? Then he says you can't go in the truck stop. And Got to go through the drive-through.
Well, Gino, here's where that's a huge. Yeah.
Oh,
Gino, you bring up a good point. Because Nevada, they're not doing that. The reason why this is so important, and Gino, I'm sure you would agree with me, a lot of these truck drivers are the ones that are delivering the essentials that we need.
Exactly.
We need to take care of these drivers.
They want them to park on the highway, and they're going to cause more accidents. I
Yeah.
drove truck semi 22 years in Ohio.
So they're not.
Remember.
Thank you, Ron. So Ron, I'm sorry, they're not doing this in Nevada, though, right, Gino? My understanding is,
I'm just saying how wrong the governors can be. I agree with Mayor Goodman. She's at least trying to protect the city. You can't even cure a common cold. Take 7 days to go away. How many guys sit at a slot machine? I worked in one down the strip from Mandalay Bay all the way to Stratosphere.
Well, Gino, there's no question, man. There's no question.
It's hard. We got to. If you don't say what people want to hear, you're no damn good. It's just that simple.
Ron, I appreciate. I'm sorry. Did I call you Ron? I apologize, Gino.
Right,
Gino.
no problem.
Gino, I appreciate your thoughts, Gino. I appreciate your call. And you're right. We need to take care of these truck drivers. We need to make sure that they have proper sleep, proper places to stop and get rest and get food. These are the people that are delivering those essential products that we need. They're not delivering this stupid silver product that Wayne Allen Root is endorsing. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Matthew. Matthew, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Matthew?
Thank you for taking my call. I've been listening to you guys for about a month. I'm new in Vegas, and I just want to make this clear. I'm an independent, and I like how 101.5 plays both sides. But I got a question for you guys, okay? And I don't want you guys to take offense to this. I've noticed that a lot of times that you guys have mentioned throughout the week that the president calling this virus the Chinese virus is racist. However, what I haven't heard you guys mention is that the fact that CNN called it Chinese first. How come nobody's calling CNN racist? They're the first guys to say Chinese virus.
Okay, so the first thing I will say to that is this. A few weeks ago,
that was not this week.
A few weeks ago, we never called it the Chinese virus, but we did cover it a few weeks ago. And here's what my opinion was a few weeks ago. My opinion was it was improper to call it that. Right now, here's where my opinion is. Right now, I don't care. Here's what I care about. I care about how we help people, how we protect people, and how people's lives are saved. There are more important things, in my personal opinion, right now that we need to talk about than whether we call it the Chinese virus or the Wuhan virus. That's where I stand right now.
But you're the one that's mentioned it.
I mentioned it 2 weeks ago. Excuse me, sir. I mentioned it 2 weeks ago. We were in a very different situation 2 weeks ago than the situation we're in right now.
I disagreed with him entirely. I have no problem with it being called the Chinese virus. It did originate. It did originate in Wuhan, China, and then after what's happened the last couple of weeks with reports coming out that this could have been circulated in China as early as October, and then what happened a couple of days ago, where China decided to remove all American journalists from their country. It makes me it makes me wonder, what's really taking place. But I have no issue with it calling it the Chinese virus.
Let me be very clear on this one. If we took a half an hour of the show and talked about whether calling it the Chinese virus is racist or not, we would be buffoons.
No.
Okay, we're not doing that.
I agree, sir. Can I say one more thing?
Please.
Google is down, everybody. Google is down. I want everybody to Google adrenochrome, and you'll find out what's really going on. Adrenochrome. Google it. The CEO stepped down.
Okay.
Bill Gates has stepped down. Everybody open your eyes.
All right. Appreciate the phone call. Unfortunately, we're up against a hard break. I promise you, ladies and gentlemen, stay on hold. We will get more to your phone calls in hour number 2. But listen, if you're one of those people in this town, and I know there's many of you out there listening right now, that maybe own a small business, or maybe you're an employee, and you're worried about where you're going to get your next paycheck, the guy we have with us on the line right now is the guy to talk to. His name is David Dornak. He is an employment lawyer. We are going to ask him all those difficult questions that you're looking for answers, whether you're an employee or an employer. This is the guy that is going to answer the questions for you. We have this guy on the line next segment for people like you, the good people of Las Vegas that are concerned about how they're going to pay the rent. How are they going to put food on the table? This is the guy we're going to talk to. Again, David Dornak, an employee lawyer from Fisher Phillips, will be joining us next, answering all those difficult questions. And we will get to your calls on the other side of the break. I promise you that. You are listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.
I recently read a news story about HomeMe, and it really got me thinking about this new way to buy and sell homes. HomeMe combines tech with experienced local agents that don't charge percentage-based commissions. It's only a low, flat $2,500 fee to list your house. My friends at HomeMe are offering a special promo to our Vegas Take listeners. You'll get $250 off your listing fee when you sell your house. Just text JD to 88588. Text JD to 88588 for more information on homie.com.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Whether you enjoy classical, rock, or heavy metal, we all march to the beat of our own drummer or guitarist. That's why Views Also offers you more ways to vape your way. It's available in 5 bold color options, 3 smooth tastes, and 3 nicotine levels. It's your vape, your way. Views, charge beyond. Underage sale prohibited.
Your home for Sean Hannity. KDWN Las Vegas, KKLZ HD2 Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
Special report coronavirus update. FDA Commissioner Dr. Stephen Hunt.
Folks, I got our guest David. He's all good.
Out of development by pharmaceutical companies of therapeutic drugs to combat the coronavirus.
Some of them tell us it's taken us years to develop therapies. They're looking at pushing that to the months period of time. And we're trying to provide them the regulatory flexibility, but at the same time the scientific oversight to make sure that gets done in the best way possible for the American people.
Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin wants to put money in the hands of businesses.
Part of this is $300 billion that goes to small businesses. That money needs to be used to hiring people, keeping people on the payroll, and if they do, there will be loan forgiveness.
Mnuchin tells Fox Business Network he wants the first of $500 billion in the hands of Americans within 3 weeks. Congress continues to debate the size and the shape of the relief package. I'm Mike Moss. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says the nation is facing a serious shortage of emergency medical equipment.
Every state is shopping for ventilators. We're shopping for ventilators. We literally have people in China shopping for ventilators, which is one of the largest manufacturers.
Maryland is closing malls and some other stores in its latest bid to get more people to stay home to slow the transmission of the virus. In the middle of the coronavirus outbreak, Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard has ended her presidential campaign to support Joe Biden.
I know that he has a good heart, and he's motivated by his love for our country and the American people. I'm confident that he will lead our country guided by the spirit of aloha, respect, and compassion.
On Wall Street, stocks are up at this hour. The Dow is up 246 and the S&P up 23. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Upwork. When you need in-demand talent on demand, watch for slowing for a crash reported Las Vegas Boulevard at Mandalay Bay Road. Meanwhile, a nice recovery from this morning's rush hour, which was also light, but still just a light pattern of slowing on 15 southbound between Sahara and Spring Mountain Road. No northbound delays and no slowing on the 95. East side, west side looking very good inbound to the Spaghetti Bowl. Upwork has the world's largest network of independent professionals like designers, developers, data scientists, you name it. When you need in-demand talent on demand, Upwork is how. I'm John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
It's open enrollment season, and MediShare is the Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google MediShare and see if it's a fit for you. MediShare, healthcare you can believe in.
As Trump rises like a phoenix on the wings of acquittal, celebrate his soaring place in history with a brand new 2020 Trump Silver Exoneration Medal. That's right. Now you can own the official government.com newly minted Trump 1-ounce Silver Exoneration Medal, made in the USA. Hurry. These medals are limited and only available at a special price by calling 1-800-222-3871 now. Fellow Americans, these beautiful, stunning, official medals will stand forever in solid silver as a reminder of your loyalty to the man who turned this country around, President Donald J. Trump. To secure your 2020 Trump Exoneration Medals in pure silver, call government now at 1-800-222-3871. Call now and we'll give you a free Trump 2020 Patriots pack, including a Declaration of Independence commemorative and 5 Lincoln cent coins when you order. Call 1-800-222-3871 now to secure yours and get a Trump 2020 Patriots pack valued at over $10 free with every order. That's 1-800-222-3871.
Attention all men. Nearly 50% of guys over 45 suffer from erectile dysfunction. If Viagra, Cialis, or the cheap knockoff drugs aren't working for you, the doctors at Peak Health can correct your ED issue. No drugs, no needles, and no side effects. Call the doctors at Peak Health today at 702-625-4334. That's 702-625-4334. 702-625-4334. Get the spontaneity back in your love life. Be romantic again, naturally. Say goodbye to pills and those nasty side effects for good. Call the doctors at Peak Health today so we can bring the joy back to your love life. Call 702-625-4334. That's 702-625-4334. 702-625-4334. Or find us online at peakhealthlife.com. peakhealthlife.com.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro, broadcasting live from the studio kitchen of Shapiro. Welcome back to the program. Glad you could be with us. Also broadcasting live on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube page, The Vegas Take. As we are broadcasting live and I am in my robe and slippers, you could see the looks of this right now. It's an interesting situation. 20 years in radio, I've never had to do anything like this before in my life. Is this the norm? I don't know.
You don't have to wear a robe right now.
It's comfortable.
That's a personal decision. You could be wearing a T-shirt.
Yeah, well, it's comfortable.
All right.
I've made a lot of interesting personal decisions. I certainly don't leave Stein alone in my apartment, that's for sure. But anyway, joining us on the line right now, are you an employee? Are you an employer? Are you freaking out? What should you be thinking about? What should you be doing right now? The guy that joins us on the line right now, his name is David Dornak. Lucky enough for him to have us to be on the line with us right now. He's an employment lawyer from Fisher Phillips. David, I appreciate you taking some time to join us. How are you?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me. It's a long-time Vegas resident, been here since the 70s. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to maybe give back to the community here and keep up with our Vegas strong spirit that we need to do during this troubled time.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you giving this information out. So let me start with the loaded question here. Let's start if you're an employee. If you're working for a small business or a large business and you don't know where your next paycheck is going to come from, what advice would you give to them?
Yeah, there's actually a couple changes that have been going on with the federal law that can help out the employees that are out there. Unfortunately, as I represent employers, it's going to be a big hit to what we're seeing, probably the small business. But yesterday, Trump did sign the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. That contained two provisions for current working employers. So when we look at the employee standpoint, you're going to have to look at it from two perspectives. One, are you employed and still employed, or one, if you're not employed? If you're not employed, your avenue is the unemployment side. As part of the act that was signed yesterday, the federal government did expand the ability to apply for unemployment from 26 weeks to 52 weeks. It's been doubled. There's been $1 billion that's going to go into the system for grants for the employers. As part of that, this morning, the governor just announced that he's waiving some of the minimum requirements to get unemployment. You don't have to wait 7 weeks. You don't have to show that you're looking for a job. So the true avenue for people that are laid off is really the unemployment side. Now, employees that are still employed and that either have to take leave or have other issues coming up, The new federal law is kind of divided into two aspects. There's an emergency paid sick leave part of it, and as part of that, the employees who work for an employer that has 500 or less than 500 employees are going to be able to basically get 80 hours of paid sick leave. Now, whether it's full paid sick leave or a 2/3 cap depends on the type of leave that the employee needs to take. There's also the second part of the act that was passed is the Emergency Family Leave Act. And so for employees that have to take leave due to the need to take care of their son or daughter under the age of 18, and because their school's closed, there's an avenue to be able to apply for this Emergency Family Leave Act.
Yep.
The first 2 weeks of that will not be paid, but you can apply the sick leave over, and that will give you 12 weeks.
Well, that's very, very helpful. Very helpful information, David. No question about that. Now let's go to the actual business owners. I want to ask you this.
Correct.
If somebody operates a food service or restaurant, maybe it's an entertainment facility, a recreational facility, do they have to close, and for how long?
Yes, they should close, and they should close for 30 days. I mean, I've seen debate going on this. I mean, we've heard what the governor said. He's definitely closed casinos. There's an article that came out in the Review Journal late last night that said some of these other things are kind of optional. But if you really look at it, the businesses that really need to close for 30 days or until told otherwise is the casinos and places where you have large public gatherings. And so any of your entertainment, your nightclubs or any type of events like that, they should close for 30 days. A question starts coming up with retail and how do you work with that? And what the general advice we're giving is kind of following what the governor is saying is that you need to convert your operation into something that can service your customers either through deliveries or some type of pickup, and not that they come in. And then to the extent that you remain open with that to maintain, the social distancing. And the same really goes with restaurants. If to the extent that you can close the inside operation so you're not having dining, but can service takeout and delivery, you can look at remaining open under those circumstances and just keep the social distancing requirements.
I look at social distancing, the 6-foot requirement, and I go to a Costco or I go to a dispensary or I go to a Smith's, and there's definitely lines where people are less than 2 feet apart from each other, or inside the store you have 200 or 300 people that are inside the store touching the same thing, and this virus can stay on surfaces for X amount of time. At what point do you think that it'll be a system where someone is outside making sure there is social distancing actually in the line, and then also inside there's some type of system where you have 50 or 100 people that are given the allotted opportunity, whether they're elderly or high risk or not, every hour or half hour they have to sign up and they go into the store and they purchase their products to absolutely maintain social distancing. Because if you don't go all in, you can close the restaurants, but if people are going to Costco and these major supermarkets and they're all going at the same time, I think the chance of the virus spreading there are actually higher than a restaurant. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that. But at the same token, when we look at someplace where you have to get food, some of these essential businesses, they're going to need to stay open because people still need to eat. People still need certain services that only they can provide. And so the question is going to come down with those businesses is how best to manage it under the circumstances. It is going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to maintain a social distancing of 6 feet when you're shopping for food, and I think they get that. The best thing to do is I like the idea of trying to have the store hours open the first hour earlier for people that are the elderly or people that are more susceptible to the virus. And I think it's going to have to be looking at it on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we're putting out alerts almost constantly each day, changing our frequency asked questions and information we're putting out to employers on a daily basis because things are moving that quickly with how people are responding and then what the employers need to do to respond to this.
If you're just joining us, we're speaking with David Dornak. He is an employment lawyer for Fisher Phillips.
Do you think that Or how is it working? So Donald Trump just added $300 billion to the Small Business Association, which is SBA loans. Is that going to be a first come first serve type thing, or how will that be allotted or actually divvied out to the state of Nevada? How would that work? How would someone who has a business in the state of Nevada go about trying to get some of that money?
Yeah, I don't know the full details on that yet. A lot of these, what we're seeing is a lot of the laws that are being put in. A lot of the regulations and the details of how they actually work aren't out there. And so I don't know the actual procedures and the details of that at this particular time frame.
No problem.
Yeah, go ahead.
Totally understandable. So, David, as you mentioned, you grew up here in Las Vegas, right? You've been here your whole life?
My family moved here as an Air Force brat. I moved here in
Gotcha.
74, 75,
Gotcha.
pre-kindergarten, so this is home.
Okay, so you're the perfect person. Then I guess this would be, my last question for you. For anything that we have not covered in this interview, anything that you feel is important that we have left out, that you want to speak now to the great people here in Las Vegas, what would you say?
Yeah, I think we need to work together and be together. I mean, the employers need to understand. The employees are scared and worried about what's going on. They're worried about their paycheck. At the same token, the employees need to understand the employers, for the most part, I've dealt with, none of them want to lay off employees. They want to keep people going. So the best avenue here is to join together and is try to work out a situation. If an employee sees something that they're concerned about, address it with your employer. The employers are open to hearing that, and they're open to working with the employees. And, relief is coming as quick as possible through Congress. It's like anything with the government. Things can be slowed down. But there is a third relief package that's being talked about now. That third relief package will hopefully, from what we're hearing, is going to include direct payments to employees and is going to include more additional avenues for employers to get money for loans to keep their business going or to recover from being able to just keep employees on the payroll when they're off. And so people are working together, and I think that's the key. Let's stick together. We've stuck together for a lot of things here in Vegas, and if we stick together on this, we'll get through it. It's just a matter of using kind of common sense here.
Yeah, no question. Well, David, thank you so much for this important information that you're sharing with our listeners. We really do appreciate you, and maybe down the road we can have you on again. This situation not going away anytime soon. David Dornak, employment lawyer from Fisher Phillips, thank you so much for your time, sir. We really do appreciate it.
Anytime, and if you have anything with the employment or that, feel free to call me. I'll be happy to come back on. I'll be happy to talk to you off of the record. And hopefully when this is all over, we can maybe sit down for a beer at the UNLV basketball game. And
that sounds great.
Be happy.
Absolutely. I am all for it, David. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks a lot, David.
Thank you.
Yep, we appreciate that. That's David Dornak, employment lawyer from Fisher Phillips. Really smart guy and really some important information that he's sharing with our listeners. I hope you all took down some notes on that. All right, we're going to open up the phone lines now, 702-257-5396. New York Times report now reporting that the White House was warned last year that the U.S. wasn't ready for a pandemic. They were warned over a year ago. This is breaking news. The New York Times is reporting it. Does that concern you, that the White House was warned? I mean, this sounds like 9/11 in a sense that, if you remember, Condoleezza Rice and the White House was warned that Osama bin Laden was planning his next attack on the United States. Then we had 9/11. Do you think that's a fair comparison here? Do you think that the White House deserves to take some responsibility and ownership of this, even if it did start in China? We're taking your
bringing that up makes it very, very coincidental, considering the fact that this just happened right after the impeachment. You have the Mueller report. You have all these different things. I don't think you should be making this political at this point, Brian.
Hold on a second. I'm
saying bringing the fact up that the White House was potentially warned. So you're saying that
how is that making it political? We're holding our politicians accountable.
But you're not thinking about the actual timeline of when this virus actually kind of took a foothold. It was right after impeachment. Donald Trump and the Trump administration.
What does that have to do with it?
I'm just saying I'm not.
What does the impeachment have to do with the coronavirus?
I'm not totally convinced that it's all coincidental at this point.
So you're telling me,
considering the timeline,
that the coronavirus,
especially with information like this coming out.
So you're telling me that you think the coronavirus has something to do with the impeachment and the
Mueller
report?
I'm just saying that it's not all coincidental at this point.
What does that mean?
That's all I'm saying.
What does that mean? You have to explain yourself. what do you mean that it's you think it's not coincident? I don't understand what you're trying to say. You're saying that the coronavirus, you think the coronavirus cares about the impeachment of Donald Trump? I don't understand.
No, I'm saying that the coronavirus, that suddenly, the last pandemic the world had was 1918, the Spanish flu. Donald Trump and the Trump administration goes through all these different obstacles from the left-wing media for about 3 years. And then towards the end of his presidency, when he's looking like he's going to very much easily win the 2020 election against a very weak Democratic candidate and most likely Joe Biden, not Bernie Sanders, this suddenly presents itself. And within a month of it presenting itself, information comes out that, oh, by the way, the White House was not prepared for this pandemic. It just seems very, very coincidental.
It's not, by the way,
but
that's not accurate.
Now, that being said, I would like to report that chloroquine, which we discussed, Wayne Allen Root said that silver alkyne or colloidal silver actually does kill the virus. The FDA has approved a treatment for the coronavirus called chloroquine, and this just happened about an hour ago. So that is a positive thing about the possibility of stopping this deadly virus, particularly to high-risk groups like the immunosuppressed and the 80+.
So here's what I want to do right now. I want to hear from you guys out there. I want to hear your personal stories. Where do you work? What are you doing right now, and what are your concerns? I want to hear those stories from you great Vegas locals out there. I don't want to use the term inconvenience, but the troubles that you've had to go through. Maybe you're trying to put food on the table for your family. Maybe you don't know where your next paycheck is going to come from. What industry do you work in? We want to hear your personal stories, and we're taking your phone calls right now. It's 702-257-5396. Again, that's 257-5396. Let's go to L. L, you're next up on the Vegas Take. How you doing, L?
Hey, what's up, L?
Good morning, guys. Long time. I never can get in, but I'm in now. So I was going to ask the attorney a question, but I'll ask him on the phone. But can I just be a conspiracy theorist just for about a minute and a half?
Sure.
Now, I'm a driver in Las Vegas, meet a lot of interesting, wonderful people. This gentleman I met about 2 or 3 months ago comes to mind, elderly gentleman. We're talking about our nation, talking about things going on. Donald Trump comes up, and this gentleman told me, he said, when we talked about China and all the bragging and how this man is humiliating China and bragging about our economy and bragging about what he's doing to theirs, this man said, when China has had enough and they're ready to enact revenge, they're not going to do it conventional warfare style. They're going to unleash viruses. It's going to be germ warfare. And this was so profound when I'm looking at our nation right now. And Donald Trump, all the stuff he bragged about, it took China just one hit to collapse our economy. So my question for you guys is, who on earth picks a fight with somebody who knows all of your vulnerabilities? We may have more Chinese here in this country than Americans.
Well, I'll tell you what, Al, if you were speaking to a right-wing nut job, they would probably tell you that you were crazy. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, El, because I'm putting everything on the table right now. And I actually, El, you might not be surprised to know, I went on Twitter a few days ago, and I put up a poll. And that poll said, just in regards to Donald Trump's tariffs on China alone, do you think that this was a gift from China? And guess what? Almost half the people in that poll that voted said it could be possible. Now, I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. But what I will say is I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that this could have been done on purpose. Now, I don't have any proof to back up that opinion. I'm just saying it's possible, and it is a very fair question.
It's going to take us a long time to recover, and I hope the billions he bragged about collecting from China, I hope it's enough for our recovery. And somehow I don't think so.
Well, that it could be.
But thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you, El. We appreciate your
call,
phone
El.
call.
Appreciate the
Thank you so
information.
much. Good luck. I don't know how she's going to be doing with her driving, Uber driving. My understanding is they've shut down Uber as far as more than one person or more than one or two people share riding. They're not doing that anymore. 702-257-5396. We want to hear your personal stories. What do you do for a living? How is this affecting you in your life? What do you do? Let's go to Carl. Carl, you're next up on the Vegas Take. 257-5396. What's going on, Carl?
Hey, what's up, Carl?
Yeah, J.D. Brian. Well, fortunately, it doesn't affect me that much because I'm retired, to be honest with you. But it's from your last segment, I was on the phone talking about the gentleman, the part of the stinkweed that grows underground. I forget his name. I guess it's the Root. Is that what it is?
Wayne Allen Root,
Anyway.
yes.
Yeah, okay. What I want to say is about you listen to a show, the FDA ought to get after this man. Number one, he keeps pushing drugs. Like yesterday or the day before, I heard some heart drug which clears all your arteries and veins, and he takes everything that he tries to sell.
Yeah, I think he's.
They don't say these are FDA, gone over by the FDA and approved. I mean, it's like a con job.
Yeah, I think he's kind of starved of radio content, and he isn't doing the best financially. And it's kind of there's a movie called Contagion that came out in 2011, and there's Jude Law plays a character in that, and he's a reporter who fakes this cure called Prosithia, and he makes billions of dollars off this cure, and it's kind of the same thing that I think Wayne Allen Root is kind of attempting to do here.
Listen, this is the game.
It is very disgusting because people need accurate information. They do not need fake news right now.
Well, speaking of fake news, this is the same idiot who thinks that he's the reason why Donald Trump was elected. 257-5396. Again, that number to call 702-257-5396. We want to hear your personal stories. How has this coronavirus affected you personally? Let's go to Ravi. Ravi, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Ravi?
Hi. I just wanted to say that, first of all, I'm in the wellness industry, and I've had to close my doors, and I've had to not let my renters rent. So I have no money coming in at this time right now.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's very scary.
Well, but it's not. But you know what? What I want to say is I am not frightened to the degree that is being espoused on radios and television. Now is not the time to panic. Now is the time to go within, to breathe, to meditate, to just really lift everybody up and smile and be kind and not point our fingers at our politicians. That just incites aggravation and fear. We have enough in our own lives of fear to start pointing fingers and making a big deal out of what is, we have no idea what's going to happen.
Well, here's what we do know. And listen, I understand what you're saying. I really do.
Well.
Ravi, I get what you're saying. Okay, you're making a lot of sense. And in a perfect world, I wish that everyone could be calm. But you have to understand, and I think you do. You sound like a smart lady.
We can be calm with making a decision to be calm.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. But what I was going to say was you have to understand everybody's situation is different. There are people out there that are in dire straits. There are people out there that are dying. There are people. Well, you're laughing. What is funny about people losing their lives?
Because I'm in dire straits. I don't have one penny coming in.
Okay, from a financial standpoint, I agree with you, but I'm not necessarily just talking about from a financial standpoint. There are people that are losing their lives. There are people young like yourself that are going home to mothers, grandmothers, grandfathers, and they're afraid for their loved ones because if they contract the virus, they're in a lot of trouble. So while I understand what you're saying, and I get what you're saying, yes, we should try to be as calm as possible. There's a lot of people that are dying. There's a lot of family members that have lost loved ones. Do you know that there's a family in New Jersey where a mother contracted the virus? She died, and her 2 young kids died? So this is no longer a virus where only older people are losing their lives. There are younger people that are dying as well.
But Brian,
now.
keep in mind that the chances that family was not genetically susceptible and had a compromised immune system are very, very small. For example, there was
you're wrong. JD, I have to give you the facts in this case. The kids and the mother had no outlying issues, health issues. I read this story. So I understand what you're saying, but this is read it if you don't believe me. A family in New Jersey,
I've read the article.
Okay, they didn't have any underlying health issues, so why would you say that?
Brian, I find it very hard to believe that they didn't have any underlying health issues.
You can say you find it very hard to believe, but the facts have come out, and the family is saying they didn't. So I'm not going to guess and say that they're lying. I just can't do that. Let's take one more quick call, then we'll go to break. 702-257-5396. Go to Bo. Bo, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
All right, thank you. Working today up on the hill, moving some earth around, looking over everybody down on Las Vegas. I got a great view of y'all. I just want everybody to, stay calm, work together, put our differences aside in this time. Appreciate your show. One quick point. I hope we can cover this topic soon this week. Listen to you every day. The Harvard professor that was arrested, the 2 students from Wuhan that were arrested at the airport, in December. I would like some answers on that. I see it's real. It's not conspiracy. It's available on Google.
Yep.
Google Harvard professor that was arrested. These students of Wuhan leaving the United States.
No, I heard about that, Bo. Bo, I hear you. I apologize. I'm up against a hard break. I have to let you go. But, Bo, I promise you, we've looked into this. I'm wondering why no politicians nor the president has been asked about this, but it's a good, valid point that you bring up. I read that article, and we are going to try to follow it best we can. More of your phone calls coming up next. 702-257-5396. We want to hear your personal stories. We want to hear, how has this coronavirus affected you? Give us a call, 702-257-5396. Again, 257-5396. Your call's on the other side of the break. You're listening to The Vegas Take.
Can a tree change a life? At Trees for the Future, we believe trees make all the difference in the fight against poverty, hunger, and climate change. Through a proven permaculture method called the Forest Garden Approach, Trees for the Future has positively impacted over 26,000 farmers and their children. Are you ready to leave a lasting impact on the world? Find out how to plant seeds of hope this season at trees.org/radio. That's trees.org/radio.
To the savers, the skimpers, the I brought my lunchers, to the one-flyers, the DIYers, the why would I fly when I can just drive-ers, we see you working hard to achieve your financial dreams. That's why Credit Karma Savings works just as hard as you do, with a great high-yield savings rate and no fees or minimum to open ever. Credit Karma Savings, a whole new way to save starts here. Start saving today in just minutes at creditkarma.com/savings. Banking services provided by MVB Bank Incorporated, member FDIC.
And today, Italy has more reported deaths from the disease than any other nation, including China, with more than 3,400 dead. In a time when many people are fearing death, Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams is encouraging Americans to give the gift of life.
One thing we should all consider, especially our millennials and Gen Z, is donating blood.
Hospitals report dangerously low supplies of blood. President Trump was asked whether his $1 trillion economic rescue plan is enough.
If we can stop it in its tracks, the virus, it's plenty.
If not, the president says he will go back to Congress for more economic stimulus. The government of Greece is ordering hotels to shut down, while a 4-star hotel in Madrid is now being used as a medical facility. The Dow up about 150. I'm Mike Moss.
I know they do. I agree with them. Not like a lot.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Leonard Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Watch for slowing for a crash reported on Charleston eastbound at I-15. Police and fire on scene with injuries sustained. Expect lane restrictions and slowing and take an alternate route. Meanwhile, no delays to report I-15 north and southbound between the Spaghetti Bowl and Southern Beltway. There is some light slowing on the Northern Beltway past Losey Road to I-15 affecting eastbound. Losing sleep over a stressful job or a bad boss? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Connect on the Express Jobs app or ExpressPros.com. John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Whether you enjoy classical, rock, or heavy metal, we all march to the beat of our own drummer or guitarist. That's why Views also offers you more ways to vape your way. It's available in 5 bold color options, 3 smooth tastes, and 3 nicotine levels. It's your vape, your way. Views, charge beyond. Underage sale prohibited.
There are good numbers.
A 1,600 on my SAT.
There are bad numbers.
We're looking at about a 2-hour flight delay.
And if your business doesn't have the right HR solution, it's easy to see people as numbers. Thankfully, there's Insperity. With Insperity, your employees can have access to more competitive benefits, and you can streamline your payroll process, retain top talent, and more. So instead of feeling like a number, your employees will always be at their best. Learn more at Insperity.com. Insperity, HR that makes a difference.
Hey, Las Vegas, it's KDON's John Schaefer. You know, I've been living here in Las Vegas for 13 years, and I love this city. In fact, all of us here at KDON and Beasley Media are doing all we can to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. We're all in this together. KDON is here to support you, broadcasting live, providing information and entertainment. You can stream us from home on our app, smart speaker, or at KDWN.com. We're all in this together, Las Vegas. A message from the Beasley community of caring.
This is Lorraine Hunt Bono, inviting you to tune in for Breaking Bread with Bono. Join my husband, Dennis Bono, as celebrities share with him their intimate and humorous stories. Saturdays, 5 to 6 p.m., right here on KDAWN.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDAWN.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us on a Thursday. Obviously, coronavirus is the topic of discussion, and it will be for a very, very long time. And don't we have a responsibility, let's just talk about as citizens, don't we have a responsibility as citizens to listen to our politicians, to listen to the doctors out there, put ourselves in quarantine if we think we could affect others? You should be in quarantine anyway. Well, one guy that has put himself in quarantine is Florida Senator Rick Scott. Listen, I'm not a big Rick Scott fan. I never have been. But he is pissed off in regards to some of these millennials that are spending spring break on the beaches. He wants them off the beaches. We got hundreds, thousands of people that are gathering on these beaches and pretty much doing exactly what our politicians are telling us not to do. So this is Rick Scott, in his own words, speaking.
What are you thinking about by being on the beach around all these people that might have coronavirus, and then you're going to go home and potentially infect the people you love the most? What are you thinking? Stop doing it now.
I tell you, I agree with him 100%. If you're one of these morons, millennial, whoever you are, I would imagine not every single one of these people were under the age of 20. I would imagine some of these people were in their 30s, their 40s, maybe their 50s. You want to talk about irresponsible. Those people are idiots. Get off the beaches. We're told don't even have gatherings as much as 10 people. There were hundreds, if not thousands of people on the beach the other day. Stop it. You're putting everybody at risk because of your dumb, ignorant selfishness, and I'm tired of it. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. We want to hear from you. We want to know about your personal stories. How is the coronavirus affecting you personally? Tell us about it. What do you do for work? What are your worries? What are your fears? Or maybe you're fine. Maybe you're just very calm. We had a caller that called in last segment. Stop worrying, everybody. We should all just be calm and settle down.
Namaste, Brian. Namaste.
We want to hear from you. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Mark. Mark, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Mark?
Hi. Yes. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
My wife and I are retired, and we're in reasonable shape at this point for the next few months. I really feel for other people's situation, unlike the woman who said, well, I don't have any income coming in, but she's able to call you. She's a renter, which means I'm sure she has other monetary means.
Right.
Exactly.
She owns property. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So come on, she's ridiculous. People need to reach out in the sense of understanding other people's situation. I wanted to bring up something about this whole colloidal silver nonsense that people need to understand, is that yes, it's mildly toxic, but it's mildly toxic to every cell it encounters. It makes no distinction between the virus and your own cells.
There you
and
go.
People who've done this in the past
Yep.
have harmed themselves and actually turned their skin gray permanently. So Brady and all those folks trying to sell this stuff, don't get your advice from people like that.
Oh, trust me, I don't. Trust me, I don't get my advice from Wayne Allen Root. We should check his skin. It's probably gray. No, but you're right. Listen, you sound like a smart guy. I'm glad you brought that up. Anyone who's selling this stuff as curing the coronavirus, you're nothing more than a scumbag scam artist, and we need to expose these people for who they are.
I want to add I'd like to add a couple of things.
Sure.
My wife and I went into Costco briefly the other day. It was jammed. There was an hour-long line. We walked in, looked around, and walked out. A perfect place for the virus to spread.
Exactly.
Stores that are doing this are irresponsible. I called Costco corporate. I said, you need to limit the number of people going into your store. And I want to make a suggestion that this has been going on at airports where you have these portable thermometers where you can scan somebody's forehead and see if they're running a temperature. Those should be also widely spread around.
Yeah, actually, the Encore.
And anybody potentially entering a place of business or an airport or any other place, hospitals, of course, and so forth, if they're scanned and they're showing a temperature, it should be you're turning around and go home. We're
Yep.
not letting
Yeah, that's a great
Mark.
call.
Mark, really good points you just made. Really, really solid points. We do appreciate the phone call.
Yeah, and actually the Encore and the Wynn before the casinos were shut down, they actually had a thermal temperature scanner that they were actually every single person that walked through the door, if their temperature was over 100.5, they were turned away. And I think that I agree this should be taking place with all the grocery stores, and there should be someone outside making sure, and I'm talking like a law enforcement that should be making sure that there is the correct distancing between the lines before you walk into the store. And once you're in the store, it should be a max of 50 or 100 people every 45 minutes or every 30 minutes. We'll say 30 minutes, and you should sign up for that online. If you're not, if that is not taking place, then you are absolutely, in my opinion, spreading the virus through these stores, trying to protect yourself from the virus.
I mean, what is the difference?
Which is 100% counterintuitive and counterproductive.
What is the difference between, somebody like myself? I'm having my 40th birthday coming up next month, and I was planning on having 50 to 100 people at this party. There's no way I'm having this party now. So what would people say out there if I selfishly had this party? They'd call me probably a lot of names, right? What's the difference between me having a party with 50 people and what the stores are doing, like Costco? Please explain to me what the difference is there. 257-5396. We want to hear your personal stories. How is this coronavirus affecting you? And let's go to Michaela. Michaela, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Michaela?
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Just wanted to share my story. I didn't lose my job. Where I work is considered essential. It's in healthcare. So, but I'm a single mom of a 4-month-old infant, and the daycare closed. And so, I'm unable to go to work because, I have to watch my child. But,
Sure.
I'm just trying to figure out how to, make it work. Since my niece is, out of school right now, I'm driving to Utah to pick her up and bring her, and she's gonna watch my child so I can go to work.
What do you do for work if you don't mind me asking?
I work at a recovery center.
Oh, great. So that's essential, obviously.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, can I ask you a question? And by the way, I'm so sorry that you've had to deal with that. It sounds like you're doing the best you can under the circumstances. We had a caller last segment who called in and said, everybody just needs to relax. I don't have any money to pay my bills, but just meditate. What would you say to somebody like that would tell you to meditate? Because I think it's asinine. What would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, it is important to remain calm and everything, but if it's a single family, household, and I'm the only income to support my house, then
Right.
I gotta do what's necessary to find a solution and make it work within all the chaos.
Absolutely. Well, Michaela, let me just say this. Thank you for sharing your story. We appreciate it. Sorry that you've had to go through what you've had to go through. You can't work, but I appreciate you sharing that with us. I wish you the best of luck. You sound like a very responsible mother, and we're glad that there are people like you out there helping others, by the way. That's what you do for a living, so we appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your story. 257-5396.
Michaela.
Again, that number is 702-257-5396. Let's go to Anthony. Anthony, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, I wonder. I'm also, as your last caller, I work in healthcare as well, infectious disease, and I wonder. We've had some employees that tested positive from Florida for coronavirus this type of virus now. So I wonder, as employers, should we be calling any money given to employers a bailout? I don't feel it's a bailout. I think it's an investment. What do you guys think? I don't think we should be calling it a bailout.
Probably not. Listen, I'm not a big fan of bailouts to begin with, and here's why. I'm not a big fan of throwing out a lot of money to big companies. I'm more concerned about the smaller businesses.
Well, the terminology is different with a bailout. We look at the Big Short, what happened with the housing market. That was kind of self-inflicted. That was self-inflicted, and I agree. It's not. It should be referred to as more of a disaster relief or a stimulus package, but it's going to be called a bailout just because that's a term people are used to. But that's I agree on its surface that's not what it is because it's not. It isn't self-inflicted.
Well, Anthony,
these businesses did not prepare for this. They didn't expect this, and this is at zero fault of their own.
Anthony, I want to bring up something else. Anthony, Anthony, what you're referring to, Mark Cuban just said that any bailed out companies, he just said this, any bailed out companies should never be allowed to buy back their stocks ever again. What would you say to that, Anthony?
I agree. I think that if you're going to receive this money, it has to go to unemployment, health care for your employees. Anything that's employee related for HR related, it should go to that. And also, I think as a country, I think that now we've been faced with the decision: do we want a president that believes in being prepared, or one that goes on gut feeling? I think we've had now two different types of presidents: one that believes in being prepared in Barack Obama, and one that believes in gut feeling, as in this current commander in chief. So I wonder, what do you guys think? I mean, as far as being prepared, this guy's never going to be, because that's not how he works, right? It's just not how he's wired.
Well,
Anthony.
Anthony. And by the way, Anthony, always appreciate it. Good to hear from you.
Good call, Anthony.
As far as I don't want to really talk about Barack Obama, because I think in these times, I'm not going to do whataboutism. I didn't vote for Barack Obama. I'm not going to defend him right now, and I don't want to talk about any past administration, whether it be George W. Bush or Barack Obama. I did bring up 9/11. Because I do believe that in some ways, both administrations were warned about, in that case, terrorism, and in this case, this type of virus, this pandemic that we could face down the road. But as far as Donald Trump goes, listen, we've played the audio the last 90 days, some of the idiotic, stupid things that Donald Trump has said. I mean, I'm not going to play them again, but you've heard it. Go to work. A lot of people are going to work and they start feeling better, this thing is going to miraculously disappear. I mean, the idiotic, stupid things that Trump has said over the past of the last 2 months is beyond irresponsible.
But he didn't know exactly what was going to happen. The virus.
So if you don't know, then you don't say things like that.
The virus has mutated. The virus has changed. He was not prepared. Obviously, he did take money away from the pandemic team in 2018. There's no denying that. As far as what Mark Cuban said, and he spoke specifically to the airlines. What happened with the airlines is they would get money from the government, and they would spend all that money. They would spend all their cash, and they would use it to drive their stock up, which would increase their valuation. What he is saying is, when you get that money, you cannot do that money, because right now these airlines are cash poor and they can't pay their employees. So when you get money from the government in a bailout situation or in a stimulus situation under these circumstances or any circumstances, you should not be able to take that cash and use it to supplement your own stock and push it through the roof.
Okay, but you said it yourself, and then we'll take some more phone calls at 257-5396. If you don't know, then don't pretend like you do. And that's exactly what Donald Trump did. You just said it. He didn't know. When you don't know anything about a virus, you don't go on national television and say, hold on, let me finish. You don't go on national television and say, it's going to be a miracle. It's just going to disappear in front of Diamond and Silk. And they're going, you say, Mr. President.
All right, let's go. What about us? What would Barack Obama do under these circumstances?
I just said I don't want to talk about Barack Obama. I'll tell you one thing he wouldn't do. Okay, let me answer your question. I don't want to talk about this, but you asked me the question, I'll answer it.
Well, you have a problem with how Donald Trump has conducted himself.
I'm trying to answer your
question.
Brian,
this is the most.
Right, I won't answer your question.
This is the biggest pandemic. This is the combination of the deadliest and the most contagious virus since the Spanish flu,
you want
which
me to
was
answer your question?
102 years ago.
I'll answer your question.
There have been 20-plus presidents since then. We could go through and say how each individual president have handled this. I want to know how Barack Obama, let's do what about him. How do you think he would have handled this virus?
Well, I'll tell you one thing he wouldn't have done. That's all. I'll answer your question. He wouldn't make things up. He wouldn't say he's a 10 out of 10. He wouldn't say A+. He wouldn't talk about himself all the time. That's something he wouldn't do. And I don't believe Barack Obama, in my personal opinion, day in and day out for months, would have downplayed something like this because, as you said, he didn't know. Let's take some more phone calls. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. We want to hear your stories. How is the coronavirus personally affecting you? Let's go to Fernando. Fernando, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Fernando?
Hey guys, good morning.
Good morning.
And, I'm live in my kitchen in the same city I'm in, and listen to the show once again. A good show and everything, and we'll work through this. We'll be okay. And
I hope so.
Recently, I was diagnosed with cancer in
I'm very
September.
Sorry to hear that, Fernando.
So I got to be very, very careful. And I go for walks, and I just try to, have some kind of peace of mind. But to everybody on Las Vegas Valley and everywhere around the nation, we're going to be okay. We've gone through serious things, but we're going to be a-okay. And with the economy, I guess was an $850 billion package will be coming up, and then another $250 billion was just signed, and that's okay because we're going to need it. And for Ms. Carolyn Goodman to come out to say that we cannot survive, we will survive.
I agree with you, Fernando, and I know you're going to survive. We wish you the best of luck. Sorry to hear about your diagnosis of cancer, but you sound like a strong guy, and we wish you the best of luck in moving forward. Please take care of yourself, because certainly people like you, the last thing you need is another health problem.
Keep fighting, Fernando. And you were actually
Yep.
our first ever caller when we started this show.
Appreciate it, Fernando. 702-257-5396. Let's go to James. James, you're next up on the Vegas Take. James, are you there? James, you got to turn your radio down, my
Hello,
friend.
James.
James, are you with us?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm with you. You got me?
Yeah, we got you.
barely. It sounds like you're on an Obama phone. Go ahead.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm on the freeway.
That's okay, James. Drive safe. Drive safe, my friend. We don't want you getting in an accident.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, go ahead, James. We hear you loud and clear.
Hey, listen, I'm a nurse working here in Las Vegas, and so obviously we're getting, bombarded with information about this all the time, every day. I haven't really seen the hospitals filling up yet, but I know every day we're getting more patients that are presumptive. So, I'm sure you've been on the news how the N95 mask and the PPE, there's a shortage, right? What's interesting now is the way the Valley Health System is handling this situation now is if a patient is presumptive, rule out. Now they've stated that according to the CDC, you don't need an N95 mask. You just need a simple surgical mask. And unless that patient is deemed positive, they're just saying, it'd be the same type of PPE that we'd be wearing for a MRSA patient, which is pretty common.
Well, I think when you're talking about, I was just going to say, when you're talking about these basic masks that people are wearing, like what they were wearing in casinos and stuff, I've talked to doctors and they tell me it's actually in some cases more dangerous for you to wear a mask like that because you're going to touch your face more and you're going to itch yourself more. The only thing it actually could do is help other people. It could help not spreading your virus to somebody else, but it doesn't help you personally. I think a lot of people are wasting their time
But you're
with some of these
you're
masks.
saying that the healthcare system in Nevada is at risk of getting people like yourself sick because they aren't just because if you're presumed positive, but you aren't actually confirmed positive, then you're not taking the proper precautions to protect the healthcare workers. Am I right?
Right, that's exactly right. And not only getting the healthcare professional like myself sick, I'm just worried about spreading it to other susceptible patients.
Sure.
Right.
And I understand that, and you make.
I don't know what this is based on. Is it? Why is suddenly this? They're saying, oh well, it's just going to be droplets until they're positive.
I think it might be based on viral load. When you're confirmed positive, you may have a stronger viral load of the disease, which means that you can pass it along. You're more contagious, and if you're presumptive positive, then you're not as contagious. I think that would make that if this is a national thing, that would make the most sense to me.
Appreciate the phone call, and we appreciate your concerns, and that's why we're opening up the phone lines. This is about you guys. We want to hear about your personal trials and tribulations. What are you dealing with when it comes to this coronavirus? 702-257-5396. Let's go to Angelo. Angelo, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Angelo?
Hey, what's going on, Brian? What's going on, JD? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, my friend. What's on your mind?
Oh, awesome. I just wanted to let you guys know that, I don't really know what's going on. I haven't seen anything like this since the movies, really. But I'm in healthcare. I'm actually one of the worst people, or will have one of the worst jobs right now because I got to go essentially from ER to ER in multiple hospitals.
Oh my gosh, that's got to be scary. How scary is that for you? I mean, what does your family think of what you're doing right now for a living?
Oh, well, they're all frightened, and I've got a fiance that's got cystic fibrosis, so that's a respiratory illness.
Oh yeah,
already.
That's the worst.
You know what I mean? And I got to go in and out of these things. So my fear is that I'm going to contract this and eventually spread it to my family.
Can I ask you this too, Angelo? Can I ask you, what are you seeing for what you do for a living? Tell us the types of things that you're seeing.
The things that I'm seeing, alcohol wipes disappearing from the nurses' stations. I'm seeing masks and things that are normally out for everybody to get. I'm seeing those not there anymore. I'm seeing that doctors and nurses are the only ones really allowed to use those right now. I'm covering like 7 hospitals plus medical office buildings and such. And so I'm literally going in and out of every ER whenever, like some type of system goes down.
Well,
So I'm just like, for me, I feel like I'm at ground zero, and I'm the guy who's going to be the worst person in all of
Have you had any corona patients?
There has been some at these hospitals, yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
right now it looks like there's 69 presumptive or confirmed cases in Clark County and 1 death. Do you think those numbers are accurate, or have you heard of any deaths beyond the one in Clark County?
That's all I know of. Yeah, I can't really speak to the numbers.
Well, Angelo,
I just wanted to call.
Sure.
I just wanted to call and let you know how afraid I was of all
Yeah.
of this.
Well, listen. What?
Crazy as I speak.
No question, Angelo. First of all, thank you for the call. Let me also say thank you so much for what you do. You're one of the heroes out there that is putting your health at risk at the sake of helping others. I appreciate you for what you do, and I appreciate your phone call. Please stay safe. I can't imagine how difficult it is for your family members knowing what you're having to go through, not just yourself. The fact that you're among, some of these people that could have the virus. You don't know if they have the virus. You're trying to take care of them. At the same time, you're trying to be careful to make sure that you don't contract anything. What a scary situation.
Especially with a fiance with cystic fibrosis, which is not good, not a good combination with COVID-19.
Just another story of another Vegas local that's risking his or her life to save others, and you should be commended for what you do for a living, sir. Thank you so much.
Great call, Angelo, and Godspeed to you.
702-257-5396. Again, 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Jay. Jay, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
What's up, Jay?
Hanging in over in Henderson. I just kind of I know a lot of people are talking about what's going on. I wanted to touch upon maybe a topic that's more taboo that people aren't really talking about, especially for us who live here in Las Vegas, and that is the uptick in crime. Just the other day, an older lady on the same cul-de-sac as mine, her home was broken into, and it was a black gentleman. And like I said, I live in a nicer part, a gated community, and I just want to let people know that, just because you have your food storage or you're safe or you're living in a safer neighborhood, they're coming. Whether it's from the north or from central, these monkeys are coming all around here.
Whoa. Hold on. Let me take care of this. Why would you call an African-American that name, sir, with all due respect?
I did nothing of the sort.
You just called an African-American a monkey, did you not, sir?
Well, you said that the person that broke into this woman's house was black, and then you and then you called people who do that monkey. So there's definitely a correlation.
Why is the color of that person's skin a concern to you?
It's totally irrelevant.
Listen, I appreciate your story, and you're right. There's a lot of robberies, and unfortunately those things. But why did you have to mention the color of the person's skin, with all due respect, sir, and then use the term monkey?
Using the word monkey was to describe people who are
if somebody broke into a house and was white, would you have said a white person broke into my home? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't believe you. Have a nice day, sir. Have a nice day. I don't believe you. First of all, I don't care what the color of someone's skin is. I don't care what the color of what someone's skin is that breaks into my house or one of my friend's house. And I would never use the term monkey. I'm sure you have no idea why I'm going off the rails here.
But that being said, there is a reason that basically every single gun and ammo store in Las Vegas is out.
Okay, let me.
There's been a run. There's been a run on purchasing firearms.
I get it.
To arm yourself, and there's definitely some. I would say that it's a reasonable thing to do at this point.
Let me tell you
what's going on.
Yeah, I get it, but that's a different subject. We don't tolerate racist on this show. We don't tolerate racism on this show. And one thing we definitely don't tolerate is someone to call into the show and refer to an African American as a monkey. I don't tolerate that. Maybe in your neck of the woods, that's okay, but not on this radio program, my friend. Maybe other radio shows you could get away with that. Not on this show. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Dave. Dave, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Dave?
Hey, guys. You've hit a lot of topics. I've been on hold for like an hour. I just called back. Hey, I'm in delivering this medical supplies again at 29 pallets today, 15 drops. Again, the masks, if you ever try to wear one of those masks, when you go inside from outside, your glasses fog up. I mean, getting your temperature taken, that's happening about half of my drops. And then how everyone's trying to deal with this is really a terrible time. My wife, she can do the gummies, but I've got that class Class A license. I can't do that.
No, I understand that. Hey, be careful about those gummies. I took one of those gummies last week, and it freaked me out.
Well, my wife loves them. I
Your wife has a better tolerance than I do, my friend.
I'll wait till I retire. But I do have
Yeah.
a new way to shoot tequila. Have you heard the new way to shoot tequila? You get an orange. You slice your orange. Sprinkle cinnamon on that orange. Take your shot, and then bite the orange.
I've never heard that before.
I thought you were going to say butt chugging, and I'm glad you didn't.
Well, I appreciate that story. Unfortunately, we're up against a hard break, my friend. I'm glad your wife has a higher tolerance with gummy dispensary gummy bears than I do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Darcy Spears. It is our Dirty Dining segment from 13 Action News, but this is going to be a very different segment. Now, how do we deal with picking up food and delivery? How do we deal with that sort of thing? How do we deal with ordering food, and how can we protect ourselves? Darcy Spears, Channel 13. Coming up next, right here on the Vegas Take.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458, 800-481-1458, or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too.
When I adopted her, she was a mess. Scabs, itching, licking, missing fur, hot spots. So I get the Dinovite. DINOVITE.com. And the Lico Chops within a 4-week total. Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog. And she loves it.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
Dinovite for life. DINOVITE.com.
Your home for Sean Hannity. KDWN Las Vegas, KKLZ HD2 Las Vegas, a Beasley Media Group station.
The State Department has raised its travel warning for Americans to its highest level as it warns Americans to stay home amid the outbreak of the coronavirus. Governors say the federal government is failing to provide enough testing and emergency medical equipment. The president says that's not the role of the federal government.
Governors are supposed to be doing a lot of this work, and they are doing a lot of this work. The federal government's not supposed to be out there buying vast amounts of items and then shipping. You know, we're not a shipping clerk. The governors are supposed to be, as with testing, the governors are supposed to be doing it.
A new type of social policing called quarantine shaming, calling out those who aren't abiding by social distancing. Bayer is donating 3 million medical tablets to be tested to see if the drug fights the virus. I'm Mike Moss. President Trump says he doesn't know whether to believe Chinese claims that it has substantially cut new cases of coronavirus.
As far as believing what they're putting out now, I hope it's true. Who knows, but I hope it's true.
Senate Leader Mitch McConnell says Congress is preparing a relief package that includes $500 billion to go directly to Americans.
No tangled Washington process with 1,000 cooks in the kitchen. No piles of forms for laid-off workers or busy families to fill out. Money for people, from the middle class on down, period.
The Department of Veterans Affairs is rapidly preparing for the possibility it may have to absorb overflow civilian patients if private hospitals are overrun by the coronavirus pandemic. More than 228,000 people have been infected, 9,300 have died worldwide. The Dow up 366. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Lerner and Rowe Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by ExpressPros.com. An accident with injury sustained reported on Charleston eastbound near Grand Central Parkway. Watch for slowing in the area. Road work continues on Las Vegas Boulevard, both directions north of Sahara and before Oakey Boulevard. Meanwhile, no delays to report I-15 north and southbound between the Spaghetti Bowl and the Southern Beltway. Losing sleep over a stressful job or bad boss? It's time to get to know Express Employment Professionals. Connect on the Express Jobs app or expresspros.com. John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
It's open enrollment season, and Medishare is the Christian healthcare sharing ministry that saves most families about $500 a month. Google Medishare and see if it's a fit for you. Medishare, healthcare you can believe in.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Whether you enjoy classical, rock, or heavy metal, we all march to the beat of our own drummer or guitarist. That's why Views Alto offers you more ways to vape your way. It's available in 5 bold color options, 3 smooth tastes, and 3 nicotine levels. It's your vape, your way. Views, charge beyond. Underage sale prohibited.
I recently read a news story about Homey, and it really got me thinking about this new way to buy and sell homes. Homey combines tech with experienced local agents that don't charge percentage-based commissions. It's only a low, flat $2,500 fee to list your house. My friends at Homey are offering a special promo to our Vegas Take listeners. You'll get $250 off your listing fee when you sell your house. Just text JD to 88588. Text JD to 88588 for more information on Homey.com.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM 720 AM. KDON. The opinions of the hosts on KDWN are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of this station, its management, or Beasley Media Group. Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 1015 FM 720 AM. KDON.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us on a Thursday. And obviously, we're talking coronavirus, and we're hearing from all of you out there. We want to hear your personal stories. We'll try to get to some more phone calls a little bit later in the show at 702-257-5396. And if you've been waiting on hold patiently, we will try to get to as many phone calls as we can. But, you know, today's Thursday, but this is a different Thursday. This is a different kind of segment with Darcy Spears from 13 Action News. She does her Dirty Dining segments with us every week, does a great job on Channel 13, and she's going into places and she's saying, well, what are the restaurants you shouldn't be going to that are breaking these health rules, you know? And now it's more of a situation of, well, many of these restaurants are not open, but some of them are open for delivery. So what are the types of things that we should look for, and what are the things that we should be careful with when it comes to ordering food, whether it be pickup or delivery? Darcy Spears from 13 Action News joining us right now on the line. Darcy, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm working remotely, much like you guys are, so kind of getting used to what I hope is a temporary new normal, but nonetheless, still doing our jobs. And restaurants are allowed to stay open if they want to. Many of them are converting to takeout and drive-through options, or those that have that as their business model, of course, are continuing to do that. But those kitchens are operational, and they're cooking food for the public and need to adhere now more than ever to those extremely strict health and sanitation standards.
Absolutely. So, Darcy, speak to the people that are actually going to be buying a lot of deliveries, a lot of pickups over the course of the next weeks, maybe even months. What advice would you give to them, and what are things that you should look for that can help you make sure that you're getting food from an establishment that is safe?
Well, I actually just a few minutes ago got answers to some questions that I've been waiting on from the Southern Nevada Health District to specifically be able to help folks answer some of those questions. And I did get reassurance from the health district that they are continuing to inspect the restaurants. They are continuing to offer education and inspection services to the food service industry, making sure that the community's food supply chain is safe. Restaurants and other food outlets that remain open for takeout and drive-through will be prioritized for inspections. And the health district is continuing to offer its full range of services during this time. Of course, all of those restaurants have to continue practicing good sanitation and food safety practices, but there is also a statement of guidance to help restaurants through the COVID-19 response. That is on the health district's website. And also the grade cards. As you know, when you walk into a restaurant, the grade card has to be posted conspicuously. You have to be able to see it when you walk in. But if you're just doing drive-through or if you're just doing curbside takeout, you may not see the grade of that facility, so you may not know what it has. You can ask them to show you their grade card, or once again, you can always go on the health district's website or their mobile app to verify current grade and inspection history of any facility. So not being able to walk in if a place is in fact closed, or if you're not walking in for takeout, that's another way to make sure that you're as up to date as possible on what the current inspection status of that restaurant is.
So, and that's great information that you're giving to our listeners, Darcy. Talk to me a little bit about some of these restaurants. I mean, my understanding is, based on everything that we've talked about today, speaking with several different people, is that these restaurants, there's no law that says they have to close, right? They can actually remain open and they can't get cited or arrested. Are some of these restaurants actually remaining open? What can you tell us about that?
Well, because I am abiding by the rules that most of our employees are under right now, which is to work remotely, to work from home, to not really go out much, I haven't put that theory to the test. I haven't tried walking into a restaurant to see if they're open and serving. What we are advising everybody to do is to call first. If you want to go to a place, or if you want to get takeout, or, even if you want to dine in, because yes, you're absolutely right. This is not an order for closure. This is guidance. This is a suggestion that the governor has made. There is no rule, there is no law that any restaurant has to close down, even to dining in. They're still allowed to do that. The police are not going to respond to any, oh my gosh, this business is open. They're allowed to be open. They're allowed to keep doing business. It's everyone's individual discretion as to how they want to do business. If they want to keep letting people come and dine in with, perhaps limited seating for that 6 feet of separation rule, they can do that. Some are going to opt to close. Some are going to opt to just do drive-through or takeout, but it is absolutely and completely up to them.
Is JD on? For whatever reason, JD's microphone isn't working. Okay, so obviously, there's a lot of people here that are freaking out. As you know, Darcy, they're going to the supermarkets and stocking up on water and a lot of other things. But I would imagine most people, a large percentage of people, will actually, be doing takeout. I mean, if you take the average 10 people in Las Vegas, Darcy, is it fair to say that at least 8 out of 10 people will most likely be buying takeout, at least on a daily basis?
I would say that quite a few people are probably doing that. And just in my own experience, I was out for a brief time yesterday working on a story about daycare facilities. And when I drove by In-N-Out Burger, that's basically the one on Sahara and Wallapai, there was a huge line of people in the drive-thru there. And there were a few people in the drive-thru at Cane's, which is nearby as well. So definitely people aren't easing up on, going through the drive-thru. And I think a lot of people are probably going to be taking advantage of that, especially, and I can't emphasize enough, the people that are out there panic shopping and hoarding, stop.
Exactly.
Stop.
And I want to ask you about that.
You're ruining the supply chain. You're penalizing people who are just trying to live their normal lives by buying only what they need for the short time. But the bare shelves at the stores, it's totally unnecessary, and it's fear-based and misinformed, and people need to stop doing that. But also, I think it is because people might not be able to find some of the basics that they're looking for to cook at home. There are going to be quite a few people going through these drive-thrus and doing takeout. And I hope people do that to continue patronizing our local restaurant industry, because they need to stay in business, and we need them, and we're really going to want them when the time comes that we're able to get together and go out, with family and friends again. So the adherence to the sanitation and the health is of the utmost importance. And definitely when you're doing that, when you're going through take through and drive out, double check the grade. Make sure that the place you're going to has an A. You can go to a place that has a B or a C if you want, of course, but just keeping informed will give you that extra little bit of information that you need to make it, a choice that you're comfortable with.
And I went through a drive-through, I believe 2 days ago at Popeyes, and for the first time, the woman that gave me my food actually had gloves on, which was a nice development. I want to ask you about people who are going to grocery stores and purchasing food, whether it's in a package or bottles of water, or say someone touches one bottle of water and they don't buy it, and someone else touches that same bottle of water. When you purchase actually 2 questions. When you purchase food from a grocery store, what should you do when you get home with that food to prevent yourself from getting the coronavirus? Is it possible to be transmitted through that food? And then also, do you think that social distancing, because this is not being practiced right now at Costco, at Smith's, I mean, you look at the lines outside, even at dispensaries, these people are 1 foot or 2 feet away from each other. Do you think that that should be applied to Costco's and Smith as well as everything else? And how do you answer the first question?
Well, definitely as far as, touching things that other people have touched, we have seen from, the CDC and the medical professionals that are advising everybody right now that the coronavirus can, in fact, live on surfaces for days. We've seen anywhere from 2 to 9 days that it can live on different types of surfaces and packaging, whether hard surfaces are more at risk than something more porous like cardboard, for example. But plastic, any packaging can in fact be contaminated, some shorter than others. So, if you really want to be extra safe, you may want to wipe down the stuff that you purchase because certainly you don't know who's touched it. And whether it's using a Clorox wipe or something that you spray a little bit of cleaner on a paper towel and wipe it down. Of course, being careful not to ingest chemicals. We don't want anybody to do that. But it can live on surfaces. So being mindful of that is really important. I know that some stores are limiting the number of customers that can come in at any given time. I think some of the Smith stores have done that to try to enforce the concept of social distancing. I don't know about Costco because, quite frankly, I'm staying as far away from that as possible. To not be part of the problem and to not buy an excess of things. The people, like when the bread shelves are going dry, perishables are not going to last and stuff's going to go stale when you buy more than you need. So in addition to creating a shortage, I think people are also going to be contributing to food waste, and that might not be something that they've considered. I know at the Smiths that I go to, where they usually have those Purell wipes for all the carts, those have been out forever, and I say that, obviously that's an exaggeration, but definitely for the last couple of weeks, they haven't had any for you to wipe your carts down. So I do see people in the grocery store wearing gloves to push the carts around. But that's another reason why it's super important to wash your hands right when you get home if you've touched that cart, because as we know, soap and water is truly the most effective way to kill bacteria and viruses and prevent their transmission.
No question. Darcy, always a fantastic job, but even this week is more important maybe than any other week. Every week we have you on, it's important, but giving the information that you're giving out right now, really helping people in the Valley, as you always do. Can you give out that information? How do people contact you? How do people follow you on social media and see you on Channel 13?
Well, we did do Dirty Dining this week. It did air last night at 11, and it will re-air today in our 6:30 p.m. show, as is the case every Wednesday night and every Thursday. You'll get your Dirty Dining episode. There were restaurants that we profiled in last night's Dirty Dining that got caught doing the exact type of things that we don't want to see people doing right now, where it comes to hand washing violations and food that's not being washed and a variety of other health and sanitation type of violations that is the last thing you want to see. So please go to ktnv.com and you can see our Dirty Dining report from last night. All the details are there. The video is posted. You can always find it there. I've also put it on my Facebook page. Just look for Darcy Spears on Facebook. I've tweeted out a link to it as well. I'm at DSPINV13 on Twitter. And then, of course, our mobile app and our streaming services will have it as well.
Darcy, great job as always. Always appreciate you. Thank you so much coming on during these difficult times, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. Thanks so much.
Thank you, guys. Be safe.
Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Darcy.
Same to you, Darcy. Be safe out there. That's Darcy Spears, 13 Action News, Dirty Dining segment this week. Very different than some of those other segments that she's done. I promised you I would get back to the phone calls. We're going to do that right now. We want to hear your personal stories. How is this coronavirus affecting you personally? We want to hear from you. This is your show, 702-257-5396. Again, 257-5396. I will mention this real briefly. There are some talk show hosts that were written about in the Review Journal, and one of those hosts said that he's having guests on just to fill time. Let me be very clear on that. We didn't have Darcy Spears on the show to fill time, and we also are not on the air 47 minutes a day. We don't have any guests on this show to fill time. We know what we're going to talk about. One other local host said he doesn't know what he's going to talk about. Well, guess what? We do. That's why we have a talk every night before we go to sleep about the subjects and the important things that we're going to talk about.
That's why we got a producer.
Which is ever evolving. So if the Review Journal ever interviews us, which they probably never do, but if they would do that, I would say, no, we actually don't have guests on to fill time. We're on for more than 47 minutes a day.
And really, that's a disservice. It's a disservice to your listeners, is what that really is.
It's an embarrassment.
And you're basically keeping your show going to appease your advertisers who are paying for it. When your listeners are listening because they want good information to help them or to to answer questions that they have or whatever that thing may be. And so, just filling time is probably not the best way to go about.
I'm just confused
having a radio show, especially during these very trying times.
I'm very confused. One of the guys that they wrote about in the Review Journal today, I wouldn't call him a friend, but, hung out with him sometimes. And, he's bragging about his resume, about how he's been in different markets since 1993. He's on for 47 minutes a day in this market. And he said it's about being diversified, being able to talk about more than what's just currently going on. And then he says later in this article, that he's having guests on to fill time. I mean, it's just totally contradicting himself. And the reason why I'm talking about this is
and it's possible that entire interview was taken out of context. Because I know TC. I don't have a problem with TC. He's always been very kind to me, but he definitely didn't answer that question. If that's what he actually said, he didn't think through his answer.
It's quoted in the Review Journal
before he said.
So I can only go by what's said. And the reason why I'm talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, is for this reason. And we'll get back to your phone calls here in a few minutes at 702-257-5396. I believe we have a duty as members of the media. Now, what I do and what JD does, what we do on this show, we're not journalists. We're not reporters. This is an opinionated talk show. So while we want to get the latest information out there to you, we're also going to share our opinions. That's what we do. Sometimes we speculate, but we give a thought, we give an opinion, and then we hear from you. But never in the history of this show or the history of me ever doing radio, and I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. Never have I had a guest on a show to fill time. Never have I ever gone into a show not knowing what I'm going to talk about. But the people that are being interviewed by the Review Journal talking about talk radio, the two people that are being quoted in the newspaper today, they're on the air for 47, 48 minutes a day, and that's what they said.
To give them a little bit of latitude, these are both sports hosts. They host sports shows.
Doesn't matter.
They're not used to talking news and politics and current issues, so they don't have a ton of experience with this. But again, not great answers.
I could talk to anybody on the street who doesn't have any radio experience, and they would have more to say about this issue. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody. It's not too difficult to reach out and get a local doctor to come on, or get somebody like a Darcy Spears, or get somebody like an employment lawyer like David Dornak. If you want to do an hour a day, talk about Tom Brady and talk about the Raiders, go ahead. That's not what we do on this show. We'll never do that. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. We'll take some phone calls now. Again, 257-5396. Let's go to Logan. Logan, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, Logan?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm still waiting on that poster of Larry the Cable Guy, but we're going to pass that. So my whole thing is my job's not being affected. I'm a glazier for a small company in town. And,
Gotcha.
Work is business as usual right now, which is really weird to me. And, some things that I'm seeing, I heard somebody just the other day on your show talking about the Second Amendment and gun rights and all of this stuff. When we go back and you try to become a doctor right now, does anybody realize how much debt you're going into to become a doctor and how unrealistic it is and why the new generation isn't going that route? Why are we looking at the old Constitution and keeping gun laws the same, going off of that? How about you look at the minimum wage back when the Constitution was written and how much it costs to go to school or how much it costs to live?
Well, it's a good point, and that's why I always – no, you're right, and that's why when people always bring up, well, our forefathers said this. Well, some of our forefathers also believed in slavery. So don't listen to those people. So when anyone says –
I'm glad you said that because looking at slavery – Abraham Lincoln did everything he could, and once everything was abolished, we still were being segregation. We were still segregating. So it's like we're going to go and repeat the past with making everything like that. I just don't understand.
I agree, Logan, and I appreciate the phone call. Thanks very much. Certainly that's a different subject. I'm not sure what that has to do with the coronavirus, but I appreciate you listening, Logan, and I appreciate you calling in. Let's take.
Well, I think what he's kind of getting at is the fact that there might be a doctor shortage or a nurse shortage, and there's a reason for that because it costs so much, time and money to actually get into that career.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about our forefathers and let's quote the Bible. I mean, some people decide to do that. That's not what we do on this show.
Good call, Logan.
702-257-5396. Let's go to Michelle. She's been very patient on the line. We appreciate that, Michelle. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Michelle?
Hi, Brian. Hi, JD. I just want to thank you for your service. You are providing a sense of community and assurance. It's just nice to hear what people have to say and to have that feeling of being connected with Las Vegas. So thank you again.
Appreciate that. That's what this show's all about.
Back then I did some research about the Spanish flu, and what we have for our advantage is that most of us have basic sanitation and disinfection in our homes. We have the bleach, we have the hydrogen peroxide, we have the rubbing alcohol. So I want to say something about fingernails that nobody's mentioned. I've known for years that it's under the fingernails, that it's a hotbed for germs and viruses. So you want to keep your fingernails short, remove artificial nails, please, ladies, and scrub that area where the nail is and the fingertips.
Trust me, I've had a lot of women to tell. Trust me, just to be clear, I've had a lot of women over the course of the last 20 years who have told me to quote unquote scrub that area.
What about?
I just want. Can I just finish my joke, JD, without you interrupting me?
No,
Holy smokes! I thought that was funny.
A little bit of education here. So Michelle, if you're a woman and you have long nails, but nail salons aren't open, what would you?
Come off right now. Don't be that stupid to say I have to have my beautiful long nails.
Okay.
Yes, they're sexy. Yes, they're beautiful. But it's always been a hotbed for E. coli.
Yeah.
Sorry to be disgusting about it, but under the nails, that's where the germs cultivate and remain.
Yeah.
Because most people do not scrub underneath.
Well,
the nails.
Michelle, you can clean my nails or that special area anytime. Okay, just to be clear.
Okay.
Michelle, always good. All seriousness, always good to hear from you. We appreciate you, Michelle. Thank you for calling in. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Ryan?
How's it going?
Good. What's
I'm
up?
just concerned about all the run on the gun stores. I'm pro Second Amendment. Fine. What I'm concerned about is lack of training. We have a lot of people that are first-time gun purchasers. They should go on YouTube, look up their firearm, learn how to use them, write down serial numbers of your firearms because we are having an uptick in crime. That way you can track your weapon and practice gun safety, people.
Well, that's the key. Obviously, the key is that.
No, then that's a very, very good point. I'm sure you have people right now in Las Vegas who may not have owned firearms or even thought about owning firearms, but thinking about what's going on right now and if they have a family or if their home isn't in a gated area or if they're in kind of a high crime area, typically I'm sure that the crime will go up in that area that are really seriously considering or have recently purchased firearms. Actually, if you're one of those people, you should call in.
From what I understand from our last caller before that last one was Michelle, my weapon are my fingernails. There's no question about that. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Mike. Mike, you're up next on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Good.
I just want to say you guys are doing a great job. The governor, he's doing as good as he could do, As far as the store situation, for the people who are having a hard time to get out, go at 5, 6 in the morning, just when they're opening up.
That's what I've heard. Can you tell us about that? Mike, can you tell us about that experience? I would imagine you've done that. How early?
I did that today.
Tell me, okay, so walk me through your day. You wake up at 5 in the morning. Where did you go? What did you get?
I actually woke up at 4.
Wow.
I got to the store at 5:30. I went to Bonds. There was about maybe 25 people in line, and they were about 3 feet apart from each other. They were doing okay. And I just wanted to get bread, water, and toilet paper, and everything was there, but it got swiped up real quickly. So if people want to get that stuff, get out at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. That you know what? I've heard a lot of the people that are really hurting are getting there very early in the morning, especially those who live with loved ones, or maybe some younger people are getting some products for their families, maybe their parents, maybe their grandparents. I went to a local 7-Eleven, and they never have toilet paper. They don't have anything. If you go,
that too.
they got Slurpees.
But
That's
anyway, also, I learned something yesterday. I went to Bank of America, and believe it or not, the guy said that the coronavirus cannot live on the dollar bill.
Why is that?
Because of all the other bacteria will kill it.
Oh, okay. That's
Isn't that
interesting.
something?
I didn't know that. So would that be the same? Would that apply to like poker chips or casino chips as well?
I don't know. He just said, as far as he knows, just a dollar bill, because they have people who are testing it.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I would actually guess that would apply to a dollar bill or to a poker chip.
Wow.
Right?
Well, we appreciate the phone call. Thank you for sharing your story. And there's a lot of people like you, Mike, that are waking up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, going to a Costco, going to a Walmart, not because they enjoy it, not because they want to, because they have to. Appreciate that call.
One more quick statement.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you ever see Steve Sanchez again, tell him to get off those Trump knee pads. You guys have a good day.
All right. I appreciate that phone call. Thank you very much.
Good call, Mike.
We'll take some more calls on the other side of the break. We know we have people waiting on hold. This show is about you. 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation, 702-257-5396. We want to hear your personal stories. We want to hear from you. How is the coronavirus affecting you in Las Vegas? Maybe it's affecting your employment status. Maybe it's affecting your business. How is it affecting your family? This show is about you. I also had a conversation with somebody very close to the NHL and the Vegas Golden Knights. Will there be a NHL season, or are they just dumping the whole thing? We'll get to that coming up next. We'll get to your calls on the other side of the break. Again, 257-5396. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
Some boats can take you anywhere you want to go. Other boats help you get huge hang time. But only a Yamaha boat lets you do it all at once. From the entry-level 19-foot series to the power-packed Wake series to the luxurious 275 series. Yamaha makes boats that unlock all the possibilities on the water. Get out in the sunshine and on the water. Schedule your stop by the Boating Lake Mead showroom on Boulder Highway. More information at boatinglakemead.com. That's boatinglakemead.com.
What does it feel like to actually have the coronavirus?
Monday night going into Tuesday, my symptoms really took a turn for the worse. I had a temperature of about 103. My lungs were really constricted. I felt like I had a belt around my chest, and so I couldn't breathe deeply.
Utah Congressman Ben McAdams is one of 2 confirmed cases among members of Congress. Alaska Congressman Don Young calls the coronavirus the beer virus and says it's caused by media hysteria. No symptoms, no test. Vice President Pence says that's the guideline for testing.
We want to make sure the testing is available for people that are experiencing symptoms or have a genuine concern about having been exposed to someone with the coronavirus.
The State Department has raised its travel alert to its highest level, recommending all Americans avoid traveling outside the country. With more than 3,400 dead, Italy surpasses China with the most deaths from the virus. I'm Mike Moss.
It's time to check the roads.
From the Letterman Road Traffic Studio.
This report sponsored by Dell. Watch for slowing for a crash reported on Ann Road westbound at the 95. Also, light slowing, on the Northern Beltway westbound approaching the 95, and on the Northern Beltway eastbound, a slowing pattern between Losey Road and I-15. No slowing at all on I-15 north and southbound between the Spaghetti Bowl and Southern Beltway. Save up to 45% during Dell's semi-annual sale on business laptops and desktops with Intel Core processors. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/business-deals. John Michaels from the KDON Traffic Center.
Attention all men. Nearly 50% of guys over 45 suffer from erectile dysfunction. If Viagra, Cialis, or the cheap knockoff drugs aren't working for you, the doctors at Peak Health can correct your ED issue. No drugs, no needles, and no side effects. Call the doctors at Peak Health today at 702-625-4334. That's 702-625-4334. 702-625-4334. Get the spontaneity back in your love life. Be romantic again, naturally. Say goodbye to pills and those nasty side effects for good. Call the doctors at Peak Health today so we can bring the joy back to your love life. Call 702-625-4334. That's 702-625-4334. 702-625-4334. Or find us online at peakhealthlife.com. peakhealthlife.com.
This is John Greenhut, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, Power Swabs is the answer. In 5 minutes, you'll see 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. Even better, there's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and you're done. To try Power Swabs, call 1-800-679-0969. Your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free. 1-800-679-0969. That's 1-800-679-0969.
Mark Levin, weekdays 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now back to the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 a.m. KDON.
All right, welcome back. It's the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro, broadcasting live from Brian Shapiro's kitchen. Yes, that's right. That's where we're broadcasting from. We are not allowed in the studios that are in lockdown over there at Beasley Broadcasting, but we're doing everything we can to bring you the latest information live in regards to this coronavirus and how it's affecting all of you. We're going to go back to the phone calls in just a few minutes here, and that number to call, we want to hear from you, 702-257-5396. How is this virus affecting you personally, your family, your work, your life situation? How is it affecting your life? We'll hear from you coming up here in a few minutes. And again, that number, 257-5396. So I posted something up on Twitter, and I put like a little gambling odds on it, you know, over under when the next Vegas Golden Knights game would be. And I put a date of April 18th. And on social media, and you can see the conversation, it's public. The guys from Sinbin Vegas, who do a good job covering the Vegas Golden Knights, hit me up on social media. And they said, boy, I'd like to place a wager on that Vegas Golden Knights line. And I said, well, you know, do you have inside information? What are you telling me? And, you know, eventually when I said it was just for fun and no, you couldn't actually place a bet on my odds, here's what Sinbin said. And these guys are on top of the NHL and the Vegas Golden Knights. This is pretty staggering what they said. Because I thought, I assumed that the Vegas Golden Knights schedule might start in a month or so, that it might continue. Here's what the guys from Sinbin told me. They said, quote, there is a 0% chance they are playing before that date, and my date was late April. They said, I think the earliest that's realistic might be late May, and even that's very optimistic. He said, players like the idea of playing the playoffs in August, September, and that's our best hope. And at the end, the guys from Sinbin said, most likely the season is dead. That's incredible. That was shocking to me because I didn't think it was going that far. But now I'm thinking they're probably right. And when you look at the NBA, there might only be a playoffs also. We're learning that 4 players on the Brooklyn Nets a few days ago got the virus, including Kevin Durant. How many more players? See, to me, the amount of players that you have in your league, whatever league that is, are going to get the virus just like they are in this country. We're learning that 40 to 70%, health experts are saying 40 to 70% of people in this country at one point or another within the next 6 months could be infected. So if that's the case, you would think that a good portion of players, both in the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, are at one point going to contract this virus. This is very serious, and it's killing sports, for lack of a better term. I mean, there are no sports, and there may not be any sports for a long time. This is probably the norm that we're going to have to deal with.
The only sport it's helping is the NFL.
How so?
Free agency. All the news is NFL related. The NFL draft is still taking
But how
place.
are they going to be able to open up training camp?
The NFL season is going to start, well, typically does start early September. Mm-hmm. I think this will probably be under control by then, assuming people start actually not going to beaches, you know, not having large group gatherings. If millennials understand that the fact that, okay, yeah, you may not be susceptible to the virus as far as dying from the virus, but you're still spreading it, and that's just not good. But I think that the NBA season and the NHL season, Christian Wood has the coronavirus, Brian.
Former, if you don't know, hold on, if you don't know who Christian Wood is a former UNLV running rebel, played at UNLV about 7 or 8 years ago.
And so the Brooklyn Nets, four guys they said they had the virus. Kevin Durant's one of them, but they played the Los Angeles Lakers the week before that, and the Lakers were just tested for yesterday. They're actually in 14-day quarantine as we speak. I would not be surprised at all if the NHL season and the NBA season are both finished. I'm saying
could be very possible.
I'm saying done. I think Major League Baseball still happens, probably early June, possibly late May. Probably June 1st would be probably 2 months behind. And the NFL season, I believe, as well as college football, will also take place.
Well, like I said, very possible. All cards are on the table right now. Anything could happen, sadly. Okay, number to call, 702-257-5396. We want to hear from you, 257-5396. We've taken 2 hours of phone calls, and we'll continue to take your calls right now. Let's go to Janelle, who's been waiting patiently on hold. Janelle, well, she was waiting patiently on hold. I jumped the gun there with Janelle. Again, again, the number to call, 257-5396. Let's go to Lewis. Lewis, you are next up on the Vegas Take. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Lewis?
Good morning, gentlemen. I just thought of something. I had an experience yesterday. I went out to buy some weed, and I got my weed. I had to wait because there's only allowed 3 people to come into the place at any time. In the meantime, they had construction workers coming and going in and out of the building, which is okay. Now, when I left there, I had to go. I wanted to buy some tacos, and I wanted to buy some a chicken sandwich. Those 2 places only had drive-in. Now I'm walking. I don't have my automobile. I'm walking. Now I can't. I had to go to the bathroom. The Palms was closed. I couldn't go to the bathroom there. The taco place was closed.
Okay.
So
were you arrested for public urination or not?
The Rio was closed. There's no place to go to the bathroom.
Did you have to go number 1 or number 2?
Well, I only had to go number 1.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, that's good.
I'm glad you didn't drop trout in the street and take a dump, Ron. I'm glad to hear that.
No, that wouldn't have been good.
The point is, the whole town is like that now. Where is anybody going to have to go to the bathroom when they got to go to the bathroom except if they go home?
Well, while I understand your concern and your frustration about having to use the restroom, I do understand that. With that being said, I think people have more important things on their mind, not where they defecate, but actually, protecting themselves and not getting sick. I appreciate your concern, but I think that's the last thing that's on a lot of people's mind. Actually, it is on my mind. I don't want people defecating in my apartment today, everybody that's involved in the show. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Davis. Davis, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Davis?
Thanks for taking my call. I just have 2 quick points, and then I'll hang up and listen. The first is, on the comments that Trump has made over the last few months. I hear you, but the World Health Organization said in the middle of January that the virus could not be transmitted person to person.
I didn't hear that at all.
Who
said that?
That's common knowledge. The second
No,
thing
it's
is,
not. Hold on a second. Wait, hold on. Let's just go with that. You said it's common knowledge. Where can you reference that somebody from the CDC or anybody that has a big job when it comes to this thing said that this...
World Health Organization. Look it up. Google it.
Okay, I'll look at it. I've never heard that before.
The 15th of January, they said it couldn't be transferred person to person.
Okay, well, those people should be fired then because they were wrong.
Well, they're the scientists.
Brian, the virus mutated, which viruses do. Yeah. And when a virus mutates and it changes and it becomes airborne or it becomes person-to-person transmittable, you can't really fault scientists.
All right.
Or even presidents for not really knowing what's going to happen before it happens.
Yes, I can, and I have, and I will continue to, JD, but I will say this. If that was the case, then why is Fox News not using that to defend the president? I haven't heard one host on Fox News use that. If it's common knowledge, sir, with all due respect.
Because, Brian, right now it's not about defending the president. It's about stopping the virus.
Have you watched Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham the last 3 weeks?
Brian, it is about stopping the virus.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what I want you to do, JD. I want you to watch Fox News tonight. I know you don't watch a lot of the Fox News.
Can I get to my second point?
Yeah, in 1 second.
Absolutely.
In 1 second. In 1 second, I'll give you that opportunity. I promise you, sir. Okay.
Thanks.
JD, watch Fox News tonight. And if you don't think they're defending the president, please watch 4 hours of Fox News, and I want you to do a check mark every single time they try to defend the president. I guarantee you'll have at least 100 check marks.
Did you just give me homework?
No, I didn't give you homework. I'm just proving you wrong. That's exactly what they do.
I feel like I was just assigned
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's fine. Well, and JD, you could look up all the other comments that Biden's made about xenophobia, and not shutting the flights down, et cetera, et cetera. But the second point I would like to make is whose responsibility is it? Like, who shut down the casinos? It's a rhetorical question. Obviously, the governors. So the governors in a republic like ours have a ton of authority over their own states. So Trump has the authority to close the borders, national emergencies. He could call for what word am I looking for? I don't know, but he could shut down the country, but the individual governors are the ones, like in New York. He's the one that has the authority to
No
set
question.
the rules for New York.
There is no
when,
question.
When we blame Trump, I can see it, but the governors have the authority locally, not him.
Well, listen, and I appreciate the phone call and your words. Let me be very clear on this, and I'll state it again. I'm not blaming Trump for the coronavirus. He didn't create the virus. It's not his fault. All I'm simply saying is his words matter, and he has been extremely inconsistent in the course of the last 6 to 8 weeks with those things that he said, and he has to be more responsible with his words. They undermined this virus. Him and his administration have. There's proof of it with the things he said over the course of the last 2 months. Now he's taking a more serious stance. While I appreciate that, it should have happened 2 months ago. Lives could have been saved. I think that is a very fair opinion to have. 257-5396. Let's go to Kathy. Kathy, you're next up on the Vegas Take. How are you?
Hey, what's up, Kathy?
Hi. Yeah, I'm fine. A little nervous, but I just wanted to say the way that this has all affected me is I lost my job.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's okay. Hopefully just temporarily.
What was your job, if you don't mind me asking?
I was a breakfast host. It was a really nice job. It was I worked in a hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of a nice little place. I actually liked going to work. But I hope it's just temporary. But the other way that it's affected me is I feel kind of like really confused, like almost like everything that I believed is sort of in question, and also like I've lost my equilibrium, about
Well, we all listen. Let me be honest with you. You're not alone, Kathy. Even though I'm a radio host and I might sound like I know what's going on here. I don't, Kathy. We all don't have all the answers. The president doesn't have all the answers. We don't have all the answers, Kathy. I'm with you. We're all scared. And if we don't admit that we're scared, then there's something wrong with you. So, Kathy, the point I'm trying to make is you're not alone.
There's a combination
I know that. I try to remember that we're all in this together, and
no doubt, no doubt.
I try to be positive, but it's kind of hard because it just makes me question almost like everything that I thought was the way things were supposed to be. It's not like that anymore.
You're right. You're right. We're in really unprecedented times now, Kathy. Listen, man, hang in there. Hopefully we will all get through this. 702-257-5396.
Thanks for the call, Kathy.
I believe Steve is next. Steve, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. What's on your mind?
What's up, Steve?
Yeah, I was at the hospital yesterday in Vegas. Now, I took notice, right, where they aren't even doing any kind of spraying after hours. That's what it amounts to, okay? Because I was there extra in the morning there, right, where I could see through the glass doors and everything. Now, when I did go on the inside, they only had 1 or 2 persons wiping down the desks. Now, they should have a disinfectant of spraying the furniture, the rugs, everything. Okay, that's all my comment is for
all right
now.
Well, Steve, I appreciate that, and obviously we want our hospitals and we want our doctors and nurses and cleaning personnel to do their job. I mean, a lot of people say even when the coronavirus wasn't here that my apartment should be sprayed down 6 times a day. At least that's what many people say.
Apartment, car.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything.
702-257-5396. Let's go to Daryl. Daryl, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up,
I
Daryl?
just wanted to say I could very much relate to the gentleman who could not find a restroom to use this morning. I was in the same situation. I so related to what he said, and I feel like you just kind of brushed it off. I mean, this is part of the effect of what is going on. I mean, I could not find somewhere to go.
I'll tell you, we didn't brush off Ron. Ron is a consistent caller into our show. We just treated him like we always treat Ron. But so what did you end up doing, Daryl?
I finally got in. Where did I get in at? I forgot. I forgot where it was, but I finally got it. But it was. I had to look around before I could find.
No, I understand, Daryl. Daryl, hang on the line here. Let me be clear.
Sure.
if you can't find a bathroom or restroom, I've had situations like that without the coronavirus. It's an unpleasant experience. It's not fun. I sympathize. With that being said, there are far more serious issues that this virus brings to us other than not being able to find a place to take a pee. I'm sure you would agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but that is part of what is going on, where everything is shut down.
It's a small part, but I listen, I understand what you're saying. What's the worst thing that can happen? You go to the bathroom in your pants. Very unpleasant experience. You're not going to die. I get where you're coming from, my friend, and I do sympathize with you, but I sympathize with those who have loved ones that are elderly, those who have the virus. But I appreciate your phone call, and I appreciate you calling in. Let's go to the next caller. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Rob. Rob, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Yeah, well, first of all, I guess there's something wrong with me because I'm not scared of any of this crap. I mean, I've had 55 decent years. If it's time to go, it's time to go. But you just made a comment about Trump doesn't have all the answers.
Well, no, I don't think he does.
Okay.
No, I don't think he does.
Okay. But yet you criticize everything he's done.
Okay, well, let me explain. When you don't have all the answers, here's what you don't do. You don't go in front of the American people and say, we're going to have a cure for this virus very soon. You also don't go in front of the country and say, we can go to work because people are feeling better when they go to work. This thing is just going to disappear out of thin air. It's when you don't have answers, we don't want you to hold on, let me finish. We don't want you to speculate. And that's exactly what the president has done over the course of the last 2 months.
You know, when he says very soon, Brian.
When the people he's talking to in the medical field say they're going to have a procedure, a cure or something
within
like
12 to 18 months.
A vaccine, right.
That's not what he said. You're not representing what the president.
But Brian, if they say 12 to 18 months and Trump says very soon doesn't necessarily mean 2 weeks. It could mean 6 months
but
or
it's not 6 months.
Or 8 months.
But it's not 8 months.
How do you know? It's been 3 weeks.
Because I'm going by what
it's been 3 weeks.
Because I'm going by
the point is,
no,
Brian,
you're wrong.
the standard is 12 to 18 months.
You're wrong.
So if the virus or if
what you
if
just
the
said
cure,
isn't factually accurate.
If the vaccine comes in 6 months, then technically that would be the same as
but
very
it's
soon
not.
in relation to 12 to 18 months.
You're doing exactly what Trump does.
Not at all.
You want me to explain? I'll explain.
Thank you.
No, don't thank him for putting out misinformation.
That is not information.
His own administration said that it'll be minimum one. Let me finish. You're interrupting me. 1 year. 1 year. 12. Let me finish. 12 to 8. You keep trying to interrupt me. 12 to 18 months. The president didn't say that a few days ago. You know what he said? You know what he said a couple weeks ago, my friend? Here's what he said. We're going to have a cure very soon.
Again, Brian.
That's misinformation.
That's first of all, his administration estimated 12 to 18 months, right? A minimum 12. So if the cure comes or if the vaccine comes in 6 months in relation to the 12 to 18 months, and it could happen. We're only 3 weeks into this thing. In the next 5 months, a vaccine could definitely come. If that were to take place,
I have no idea what you're talking about.
How would that not be the same as very soon?
Because they're not saying 6 months. They're saying 12 to 18.
Brian,
you're not a medical expert.
Brian, what I'm saying is it could take place. If it were to take place.
That's not what his administration is saying.
Chloroquine right now is already being approved by the FDA. By the FDA as a potential drug to treat coronavirus.
So you know more than the health experts.
All I'm saying is, they're estimated 12 to 18 months, but if the vaccine comes in 6 months or 8 months, that is significantly lower than 12 to 18 months.
Why is this so difficult?
It isn't difficult. No,
why is this so difficult?
You're assuming because they're saying no, Brian. You're assuming that because they're saying 12 to 18 months that is the absolute guaranteed time frame. I'm saying if the vaccine comes in 6 months or 8 months, that is 10 months less than 18 months. That is 6 months less than 12 months, and it would actually apply to Trump's statement of the virus being the cure coming very soon.
Now let me just speak for 30 seconds.
Sure.
That's all I need.
Absolutely.
Okay? For this last gentleman who just called and said, well, if the president doesn't know, then why you criticize him? Let me be very clear and answer the question, which I wasn't able to answer. Very simply put, when you don't have the answers, when you don't know, and clearly Donald Trump for the last 2 months has been completely clueless, what you don't do is you don't speculate as the president of the United States. You don't say that there's going to be a miracle and there's going to be a cure. What you don't say is the number of cases in the country are 15 and it's go down to 0. That's what he said a month ago. What you don't do is undermine how serious this could be. And if he doesn't know, which we all agree he didn't know a month or two ago, you don't speculate as the President of the United States. And that's exactly what he did. And that's why I am going after him for doing so. He's only taken a serious stance over the course of the last few days. That is where my problem is. So for any of you bozos that wear the Donald Trump knee pads, that call into the show and say, well, the president didn't know, so why are you criticizing him? That's exactly my point. If you don't know, then you don't speculate. We're not just anybody, somebody on the street or a radio host. This is the President of the United States. You don't speculate when you're president, and that's exactly what he did. And there are people that could have had the virus that went to work because last month he said you could go to work if you have the virus. That's what the president said. And if anybody agrees with that and think that's okay, then check your head and put yourself into a mental institution.
Keep in mind that at the point when he said that, if you had the virus, you were in quarantine.
He did not say that a month ago. That's not true.
But you did not know. You did not know that you had the virus.
That's not what he said a month ago.
There were not enough tests available to find out if you had the virus.
That's not what he said.
And they weren't testing people.
You're not saying what he said.
He
said, go ahead and go to work. And a lot of people that are going to work, even if they have the virus, they're feeling better.
But how would they know?
That's irresponsible.
How would they know that they had the virus, Brian, at the time that he said that? How long ago did he say that?
He didn't. That's not what he said. A month ago. We played it. A month ago,
there were 3 cases. I believe there were 3 cases in the United States, 3 total cases.
He said it would have been okay to go to work.
At that point, he was talking to 3 people that had been infected with the virus. And I guarantee you, those 3 people...
Absolutely irresponsible.
Or the people that were on the Diamond Princess. They were probably the only people that were infected with the virus, at least publicly, at that time. Now, that's totally changed. At that point, what I'm saying is
that's not true.
Nobody went to work at that point knowing they had the virus because no one knew they had the virus.
When there were 15 people that were contracted with the virus in the United States, you know what he said? Here's what he said on a national stage. He said, we believe those 15 cases are going to go down to 0, and the virus is just going to disappear. And then his idiot friends, Diamond and Silk, that's right, Mr. President, hanging out with Diamond and Silk. Boy, that's wonderful leadership. You're hanging out with 3 people that have a combined IQ of 20.
Now, why do you think they have low IQs, Brian?
Why do I think? By the things they say. That's why. By the way they behave.
Okay, so,
and I said 3 people.
So if you speak with Ebonics, you have a low IQ.
Nope, that's not what I said. I'm not talking about how they speak. I'm talking about exactly what they say.
Okay.
There is a big fine line difference there. And if you look at their Twitter page and you look at the things they say, that's the difference. It's not how they say it. It's what they say. I don't care what language they speak. It's what they say.
All I can tell you
and they're ignorant.
is at that point when Trump made that statement, if you knew you had the coronavirus, you wouldn't be allowed to go to work. You were stuck in a hospital. You were probably in a quarantine center. You might be in Omaha, Nebraska at the biocontainment unit with Carl Goldman. At that point, that's who had the virus. Now, there was no one who knew they had the virus, who had been tested for the virus, that knew it, that was going to work.
All I have to say is you can go back and look at the Trump statements and some of the statements he's made in regards to corona. January 22nd, we have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China. It's going to be just fine. He was wrong. February 2nd, we pretty much shut it down coming in from China. That was wrong. He said on February 24th, the coronavirus is very much under control in the USA. February 24th, that's 3 weeks ago. He said the stock market is starting to look very good to me. Boy, was he wrong about that. He's a wonderful businessman, though, so he can never be wrong when it comes to finances. On February 26th, he said 15 cases in the U.S. Within a couple days, it's going to be down to 0. That's what the president said. He said we're going very, very substantially down, not up. Boy, was he wrong about that. He said on February 27th, in front of the very intelligent Diamond and Silk, one day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. And then Diamond and Silk in the background are saying, yeah, that's right, Mr. President.
Obviously, he was very incorrect about
that.
Mr.
President.
He may have had the wrong information. Obviously, Donald Trump was wrong about that. There's now roughly 12,000.
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
There's roughly 12,000 cases of the virus in the United States. There's been about 180 deaths. So obviously, he was incorrect about that.
All right, well, yeah, obviously, yes. Thank you for admitting that. On March 2nd, he said, you take a solid flu vaccine, you don't think that could have an impact or much of an impact on corona? March 2nd, he talked about getting a vaccine for the flu, how it could help the corona. Hold on, March 4th. I can keep going, man. I can keep going. March 5th, I never said people that are feeling sick should go to work. Yes, he did. I just read this quote. On March 6th, I think we're doing a really good job in this country keeping it down. A tremendous job at keeping it down. March 6th, I don't need to have the numbers doubled because one ship, that wasn't our fault.
As far as the vaccine statement, the flu vaccine, it isn't unreasonable to take current or past vaccines and try to apply them to the virus. I think that's completely reasonable. That's why chloroquine, which is a malaria drug used years ago, is actually working. The people across the world are realizing that there's a lot of products, there's a lot of medical products and a lot of medications that have been used for various different things that they're trying to apply to this virus in kind of a guess and check mode to see if it works. And again, that isn't unreasonable. I think that's actually necessary to kind of guinea pig those products and see if they are being effective. Because if they are, then we get that much closer to finding a cure. And thank God, back in 1918, when the Spanish flu hit, this will be nothing like the Spanish flu. They didn't have anything like they have now.
You know what's unreasonable?
There's so many more medication and developed things that are helping people get better over the course of the last 100 years that they're doing, and they're going to take everything they can and try to apply those to any of these patients to see if anything works.
You know what's
because
unreasonable?
They have so much more to choose from than they had back in 1918.
You know what's unreasonable? When we have a pandemic, I should say, and you decide to spend some time with Diamond and Silk. That's unreasonable. What's unreasonable is, here's something else that's unreasonable.
At that point, it was not a pandemic,
okay.
Ryan.
Here's something else.
It was.
Okay,
I'm just telling you, at that point, it was not a pandemic.
Okay, let me just finish. He also said on March 6th, I like this stuff. I really get it. People are surprised that I understand it. Every one of those doctors said, how do you know so much about this? Maybe I have a natural ability. Maybe I should have done that instead of running for president. Well, maybe just you shouldn't have run for president. I just read some of the most unreasonable things he said over the last 60 to 90 days about this virus. He was wrong. And then the last statement, March 9th, this blindsided the world. Yet the president has said he knew this was a pandemic way before it was a pandemic. But yet on March 9th, he says, this blindsided the world. Guess what, Mr. President? You can't have it both ways. You can't. You screwed up. You said idiotic things. And now we as Americans are paying the price for it. This show is about you more than it's about us, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to continue this conversation tomorrow. We are going to continue to take your calls. We want to hear from you. We want to hear about the issues and the problems that you're going through and how we can help you and how we can put the word out and give you the best information and the latest information we have from the health experts out there. That is what we are doing on this show, and that is we are going to continue to do that starting at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. We promise you that. We will do the best job we can at covering the coronavirus. Check out our Twitter at The Vegas Take, our YouTube page, The Vegas Take. Subscribe on YouTube. Sean Hannity will be coming up next. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Maybe you can relate to this. A lot of people think there's...
Gentlemen, thank you.
It costs too much, or for whatever reason, they just don't like it. The great news, you are not stuck with it. There is a choice. It's called MediShare, and you could save so much. The typical savings for a family is $500 a month. Major difference maker. This is the affordable alternative to health insurance. And just to give you a little more info about MediShare, it's a Christian healthcare sharing ministry.
I've been coughing like crazy. Like one or two times. Okay, we're good. Yeah, I'm fine. No, I'm good.
None of y'all are health experts and shit. Everybody here probably has it, So, I don't know why y'all. I probably have it, whatever we'll do. I don't know why.
Look at him blowing his nose.
I don't know why y'all
He's got the coronavirus.
I don't know why y'all think that it's here and it's in force and everything and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all is. It's here. I don't know why y'all think it's not here.
That is the worst.
TC, hey, did you see our Twitter?
Where's that big picture of a stupid bald head? This is so awkward, man, doing this shit. But you just have to laugh. It's just so absurd.
I'm freaked out, man. All right, so next time, how can we do to isolate this so I can hit it with my leg?
Well, I don't know. We'll just move it. All right, it was just a freak thing.
Yeah, this just makes no sense, bro. Like, let us in the fucking studio.
Yeah, this is very ridiculous.
I mean,
The way we're being treated. Very ridiculous.
Just ask Peter. Dude, just ask Peter what can be done. What can we do? No, what can we do?
Are
those your kids? What is this?
That's my sister's daughter, my niece.
So now this crazy woman that Brian met in Connecticut, she's not coming down.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. You got lucky. Saved by the corona.
Here.
You got saved by the corona, man.
Seawind's coming over, so stay here.
all types of things to be doing right now.